Hello, everybody. I'm just waiting for Alice. I was dumb. I just sent her the link. So, hello. Welcome to this. Here she is. Here she is. What up?
Oh, wait.
I was sitting here waiting for a minute, and then I was like, oh, I didn't send her the link. I was like, duh.
It's okay. I was getting chocolate milk, so it doesn't even matter. I
You
wasn't
were
even.
what?
I was getting
Oh,
my son the milk, so I wasn't even ready. So
no. It's all good. We're very lax around these parts, right?
anyway,
Well, this is our inaugural ladies stream. And I'm so glad you wanted to be a co-host. Thank you.
I'm so honored you asked me.
Well, it's kind of like it was almost like magic or something because me and Hex did it forever and then you and Hex kind of got connected and then now you guys have met and then I'm like, well, of course that would just make sense for her to be the co-host of a girl one.
Yeah,
So
cool. He's really laid back, and I just talked his ear off.
and laughed, I'm sure. Oh yeah. Kenny, sorry, Kenny. She's on Twitter. Kenny, you're not on Twitter though. Sorry, go ahead. What are you gonna say, Alice? You got your tall boy?
Yeah.
Cheers, baby. Clink.
And I have my chicken salad wrap. I was dying for one of those.
Did you eat it already?
Yeah. I had
Sorry.
to like.
Sorry.
I had to like control myself because he got it at like I don't know, like 3 o'clock. And it was my dinner, so I had to like hold off a little bit.
I would have fucking ate the fuck. I eat early though. I'm like, I don't care. I'll just eat the fuck early. But I have kids around too who watch me and be like, well, what about our fucking food? So
Not how I eat, especially with Grayson. Like if Grayson doesn't have something, he'll come up to you and be like,
too cute. Hey, Alexa in the chat. Hey, Clip Jordan. We need to figure out a name for our stream. Someone posted a really good one, but it was before the last post I made, and I'm like, I need to find what they did. It was really good. I don't know. I always have to. I'm like, we have to name it. We're professionals here. Hey, Joe Morgan.
Yeah, I'm not good at that kind of stuff.
I know. We'll think of something.
I'm good at cats.
That's a good skill. You need to be good at naming the cats, right?
Matt, just go with the theme, stick with it.
Go with the what?
Go with the theme, stick with it, or just keep the name that you get them with, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they don't respond to shit anyways, so.
I keep.
Oh, go ahead. I keep cutting you off, and because it keeps like cutting you off too, so you talk.
It's because my stupid phone.
It is. I know. We should get you some earphones. Can you put earphones in your phone?
Yeah.
Sometimes it works. Sometimes it works, and sometimes where it works where you don't have earphones, and sometimes it doesn't. Like it's just weird how certain devices are different.
Yeah, it sucks. My laptop doesn't work. Shit.
Fucking computers and technology, man. Hate it. I hate it.
It's hard.
So yeah, it is hard. It should just work. It should just always work. When I go to make it work, it should just work, and it doesn't. I hate it. Yeah, so I figured tonight it could be just you and me, and we'll just do it whatever. I know you like to party in your little room, so
I know tomorrow I might party in the backyard though, 'cause it's
yeah.
almost dry after
Oh,
rain.
that rain.
Yeah. And our backyard gets it's like a mud pit because we're at the bottom of a hill, and then our yard is a hill. So then our backyard turns into a mud pit.
Yeah, there you
Yeah, because they
go.
are.
It was 6% humidity here today, so
Humidity was. It was really nice here today, though. It's really nice in here right now. It's kind of bright though.
it
Like,
looks nice behind you though. But you can like your phone's picking up your face good, even with like the light behind you and stuff. It's all good. Ah.
uh,
So, oh yeah, I was gonna say this one will well tonight will just be us, and then moving forward we'll invite more guests on. I
yeah.
feel like women only. Okay, women only. I'm gonna be really strict about this. I'm gonna be really sexist because I can have women on tonight, but then I can have girls on Sundays too with Hex. So whatever.
Well, I thought you were supposed to have what's her name, Sky Daddy on.
Yeah,
Uh,
she's on the May 22nd.
is that this Sunday or is that next Sunday? That's
Yeah,
next Sunday.
so yeah, not this coming Sunday, but the one after. So that'll be fun, and we'll see if it. I mean, hopefully it works.
Did
So
she suspend again? Doesn't she get suspended a lot?
she does. She's not suspended right now. She's just purposely taking a break. And I know she had just gotten all into Bitcoin and all that stuff, and now like shit's going hitting the fan with all that right now. So I'm sure she's just like, ah.
I never got into that. I mean, my thing was is I was like, shit hits the fan in a couple, like say shit hits the fan in 2 months. Like what is Bitcoin gonna do me at the grocery store? Like what is Bitcoin? You know what like? So I just stocked up on food, but I always stock up on food.
Yeah, when you have a family to feed, you got to think ahead like that. And that's why I understand Bitcoin completely, understand the what they're trying to do with it, and like before all this COVID stuff, maybe I would have gotten more into it, but I just feel we're too close to the, you know,
Well, I mean, I don't remember who said it, but they were like, if you have the money to do it, yeah. But you know, like us, we have a family to feed, so that's not what I'm worried about. And I'm worried about my vacation in a couple weeks.
well, yeah, and I've never seen people who are like going all in on it, blah blah, and then they were like kind of saying, no, don't buy land, don't buy, and I'm like, no, you need like land or like whether it's too expensive or not, it's at least something tangible and like I'm like you can have that and Bitcoin, but they're like I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, like we have land, we can grow food. I'm gonna try and learn. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. I think I can do the
You do
tomato.
it.
I can do that. I think I can do that. I eat a
You
lot
can
of
even
tomatoes.
do it in a big pot. You can just get some big pots and do it in like big pots.
Tomatoes aren't hard, right? Aren't those supposed to be one of the easy things?
Yeah, even out here, like last I always plant a handful of tomatoes and they always just fucking as long as I water them and they're in the sun and I pick any like worms off them and stuff, that's fine.
Yeah, I really
There
like
was
tomatoes.
there was one, although my Roma started getting this like were like it was looked gross. The butt of them were all like white, but so I learned a little like you have to like make sure there's enough calcium in the soil and stuff like that. So, but whatever.
Yeah, see, I usually kill plants. I'm really bad with it.
Hi, Jesse in the chat. Oh, thank you, Paul. I know it wasn't even bad. I appealed it again, and they were like, "Nope." I should just keep appealing. I should do what Hex did. So what Hex did is then when he got his old one back, he switched that and then switched his new one to the old at. So that's probably what I would do because I have more followers.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have more followers on this one for sure.
although it's not as fun now. Today or last couple of days, I've been like, it's just not as fun with all these followers. Like, there's too many idiots now, or like too many like not fun. Like I feel like most people who follow me get me right, or they like know what I'm doing or whatever. But then you get people in, I'm like, who are you? Fuck you, you know? Like, why you being mean?
Some people are really uptight. They're usually conservatives.
Oh, so here, do you want to? Should we talk about the uh what's it called? Baby formula shit?
Oh, so funny you said that. After you said that, when I was like, I don't think there's any baby formula shortages. I mean, there's totally baby formula shortages, but I didn't know. I only know one person with a baby. Everybody else I know, their kids are grown. But yeah, but yeah, it's I don't know. They said there's a factory in Texas that they still weren't allowing to be open.
Yeah. It's the FDA shut it down because they thought there was like two deaths from some bacteria or something, so they shut that factory down. And I was just reading today, they like are like, okay, it's been shut down, they've cleared it, they've like gone through it. Why aren't they letting them open it back up?
Yeah, they said the deaths weren't even caused from that factory, I guess. Isn't that what
Yeah.
it said?
Yeah, they were like, it was, they can't even connect it. So it was like, well, that sounds fucking planned to me. If you're gonna like, I mean, it could get bacteria anywhere, like, you know.
And then I see people being like, "Oh, imagine if there was a way that you could feed your baby another way." And it's like, okay, I breastfed both my kids to start off, but my daughter, I started to not be able to develop the milk, and she was losing weight, and it was just getting to be so much that it was like, am I just gonna keep letting my daughter lose weight, or am I gonna give her formula? So I gave her formula. And then my son, he really, really hurt me.
It was a chomping down.
And like they give you that like special Vaseline, and there's like the natural stuff you can use to like put on your nipples. No, no. Like I could have put pounds of that on me. It would have never, like, he hurt me.
I mean, I can imagine.
And yeah, we switched to formula. I mean, that's why formula was created. Do you know how many babies would used to die? Like,
Yeah, because you can't like for you. This is what I don't get. What made me so upset about seeing these people talking about it. Like, yeah, obviously you want the boob mill or the boob juice. You want, that's what you want. But it's like, I knew this when I was in. Are you smoking a cigar?
no,
Or
it's a
oh, I thought it was a cigar. I was like, this is the coolest chat ever. No, but like I knew in high school because my sisters had kids while I was still in high school, and so I was a part of their whole thing. And like, you know, it just was a struggle for them to get it to breastfeed, blah blah blah. Like and I'm like, and our human body, there's people have like a human body. Not all human bodies work the same, and like think of all the medical fucking issues there are.
yeah. So, I mean, some women just, they don't produce the milk, and yeah, that actually happens a lot. People are like, well, how often does it actually happen? A lot.
A
It happens
lot.
a lot. And yeah, some women just don't have the boobs for it.
I know. I mean, it would have been, they would have got bigger, which would have been cool.
Some, but there's a lot of women that I've seen that even when they do get pregnant, their boobs just still, and they'll say like, yeah, I tried to breastfeed, but I couldn't. So yeah, that's really, really scary.
That is great. Let me. Hey, Escape for Babylon. Hey, Stone Negron. Hey, Havoc. You're fine, Joe. No, it makes sense. I mean, it doesn't make me mad, but I'm like all these men going, "What about boob?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what if? Yeah, like of course." But there's like,
And
you
then
know,
just because you can breastfeed doesn't mean you can pump. Some women do really well breastfeeding, but they don't do as well pumping. So then if they have to go to work and they have to pump, it doesn't always work as well.
Right.
It is.
So
We're,
that's what I said. What was that? Sorry. What'd you say?
we're not like magic milkers here.
It was like, I was telling someone because someone mentioned that poop juice would be among other drugs and shit. He said Corona would come out of my boobs, and then that I have super.
It was very, very good when I was breastfeeding. Actually, with my daughter, yeah, I drank once and I pumped a bunch, and then you clear out what your alcohol or whatever, and then I didn't drink again until she was 9 months old. And then my son, yeah, I mean, he just kept hurting me and hurting me. I was done.
That's yeah. That's so. That's what I was trying. I was telling someone else like I want this to get misconstrued, but like I have very, very sensitive nipples to the point where like a stiff breeze and it's very erotic to me. It's just a very good feel. And I'm like, I don't think I would. I mean, obviously motherhood's different, but I'm like, I don't think I'd feel comfortable with the baby there. Like I can't get. And I've heard mothers talk about how sometimes there's a little feeling or whatever, and I'm like, I don't even want to go down that road. Like, just don't like we'll keep them. My boobs are sexual or not, or just like nude. That's it.
Yeah, I didn't feel that way. Like my son, he just hurt me. And then my daughter was just kind of like it wasn't like a sexual feeling. It was just like what the but yeah, my daughter did really, really good at first. See, I did really good breastfeeding my daughter and I did really good pumping for her. And then my husband says that my sister gave me bad juju because she was jealous because of how well I was pumping. Like, I mean, you might not get this, but man, I could like pump 4 ounces of milk, no problem. And my sister was pissed.
Did she have problems breastfeeding and pumping and stuff?
She had to work too. And I was a stay at home mom, so I was able to breastfeed and I was able to pump, and Adam was able to feed her for me so I could take breaks and whatever. But yeah, she got pissed. Not like pissed, like it was funny, but looking back, I'm like, maybe she did give me bad juju.
You never know. Like,
After
yeah,
that, downhill.
but
Yeah,
every baby's different too.
yeah, I don't think anybody should feel bad. I didn't, you know, I mean, especially like if you can breastfeed within the first couple of days, the baby get that like colostrum or whatever, and that helps and with antibodies and stuff, and helps them not get sick. But after that, even before that, even if you can't do that, my God, they're gonna be fine.
Right. We have modern medicine now. Hey TT. Yeah, TT got here right at the right time. That's what just that I mean, obviously it's the internet and I don't spend time in mother groups and all that stuff because I don't. And then like all these men who are like, it's just the boob, just give him the boob. And I'm like, okay, I understand what you're saying, but like I never knew it was such a big like thing.
Yeah. My husband was totally cool about it. He was like, that's your body, and whatever your decision is, I'm going to respect. I'm not going to force you to
I
go
didn't see.
one way or the other, you
No, just
know.
keep the kids fucking alive. That's like the most important part. I didn't
My daughter started losing weight, and they told me I had to get up every 45 minutes to feed her. He was like, no, like, fuck this. My daughter's losing weight. My wife is going to be sleeping. Like, never. So
right.
give her formula. She'll be fine. And he was right. She's fine. Well, she's fine.
I don't even know. I should ask my mom. I mean, I know I'm pretty sure I breastfed, but I mean, I was such a huge fucking baby. But my mother does have big, huge fucking boobs too. So I don't know. But I'm like, I mean, it had to have been a problem. I came out at fucking 11 pounds. I was like, I needed a lot.
Yeah, my mom didn't breastfeed any of us. Like, that
She
was not the thing
It was
then.
all formula. Was it because it was new and like might as well or?
my mom, like, let me think. She started having kids in the 60s, and her first kids were twins. So she
Yeah.
was probably like, fuck that.
And I get the people who are like, okay, we need more wet nurses and more like milk banks and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, sure. But like, this is still reality. Alexa brought up Biden was trying to make nice after Pisaki's fucked up. I don't see what that was, Alexa. Maybe text me that or something. Yeah, formula. That's what I was saying today. I'm like, people are like, how did we get this far with just boob juice? And I'm like, well, because people had 12 fucking kids and like half of them died.
Yeah, it's a great modern invention, especially like, I mean, so a lot of times this happens. It didn't happen with me, but you'll see it in families. Like, so after you give birth, you're like really fertile for a little bit. And
Especially if you have a girl.
yeah, and I try and tell people your doctors are they're not lying when they. So even like a lot of people, they'll try and breastfeed for like a year or two. So if you get pregnant right after you have one baby and then you have another baby, that's a lot to feed. So I mean, there's so many reasons formula is a great thing. So many reasons formula is a great thing. But now we just reject all modern medicine and modern everything.
That's why the people who are saying that, I'm like, oh, so you don't ever use any kind of medicine because it's not the natural. And then like the people are just like, someone's like, I don't know why the boob juice wouldn't work, and I'm like, do you not know how human bodies like? Some people have acne. Some people, like the human body is so different and weird, and it's a meat bag with all these different meat things. Like you can't like I know you're not saying it's bad, Joe. We're just chatting because people online and we're being really weird and rude about it. So that's just what I'm like. I've never been a mom, and I know all this shit. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Whatever.
breastfeeding is not. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people that have perfectly great experiences with it. I mean, early on, I had a pretty good experience, but I mean, they try and make it out like it's gonna be like you'll watch these videos and the mom's like rocking her baby, like just gently breastfeeding her. It's like it's not like that for a lot of moms. It's like sitting there like
Yeah, and like trying to get him to latch and having this screaming baby who's upset, and you're trying to help this baby not be so fucking upset, and they can't talk. I'm like,
yeah, it's not an easy thing. So
oh. Especially if it's your first kid too, like you're already freaked out. You're already like
horrifying.
that's my so like it was funny you mentioned about the breast being fertile. So that's my sisters are like 16 months apart because they said there used to be the old wives' tale you can't get pregnant if you're breastfeeding or something like that. Well, that's not true.
True.
So the older of my sisters, she was the one who had kids while I was still in high school, so I got to see all that. Like I got to see it up close and personal. Like I loved it. I was being auntie. It was fun. It was good learning experience. It's kind of half the reason why, or it fed into like why I don't have kids now, just because I think I saw it at a traumatic early time, and I was like, oh, this is stressful. Like, which may be good. Like maybe more like teenage girls should be around someone who just had a baby for like that first couple months, like how crazy it is.
It's just never like that.
And then then the second sister, she had kids a little bit later. And I remember her first kid, like she was living in Virginia at the time, and I flew out to visit, and like, oh, like I don't even know how old Sophia was. She was little. She was still a very brand new baby. And like my sister was freaking out because she wouldn't stop crying, and like it's just very scary and you don't know what to do. And like it's just so much stress. That's what I'm like, if you can make it through the first 2 months just keeping them alive, like damn, good for you. Ugh, aren't you glad you're not doing that now? Baby time, like little babies.
I've joked with other parents that the first birthday party really isn't a party for them, but a party for you, that you kept them alive. Like, we kept them alive. Let's have cake.
It's true though, because it's like it has to rely on you 100%. There's no independence.
It's horrifying. It's and I mean that in the best way
Oh yeah.
possible. But like my pathway to children was like when I was younger. Like all my friends would be like, "Oh my god, like it's such a cute baby," and I'm like, "Ugh, it drools, it poops."
That's why I love you. You're honest. Oops.
Yeah, like I was a teenager. I'm like, I don't like it wasn't that I never wanted to have kids, but I'm like, why are you even thinking about that right now? Like, I mean, I didn't I wasn't like that. And then my nephew was born when I was like 19, and I absolutely adored him. And then honestly, when I worked at Burger King, the stay-at-home moms that would we had these stay-at-home moms that would come in for like a meeting once a month, and their kids would play and stuff, and they'd all hang out and whatever. And they were so happy. Like they were the happiest married people that would come through. They were happy. And I'm like, you know what? Like, yeah, like I think when I do have a family, I want to stay home. But yeah, when I was younger, I was like, ugh. And even still, like, if it's not my kid or if it's not a kid that I personally care for, I don't really care. I do, but I don't. You
Yeah.
know, like Adam's little cousin just had a baby, and yeah, I just adore him. Like when I wanted to hold him for 20 hours, but I don't want another one. No, nope.
My dad would always joke because there's four of us, and so like by the time I was almost graduating high school, he's like, "Why don't we just start another litter?" My poor mother, because it's such a wide age span. The poor she said as a mother, like for the whole time. I always joke though she had me because so my brother's 5 years older than me, and I always joke she had me because she's not a career woman, but she definitely wanted to work and like do all that stuff. But she knew like mother, she wanted to be a stay home mom, and like I think she had me because she wasn't quite ready to go back to work yet. So it was like one more baby, let's have one more baby, which I'm glad she did. I'm glad she did. You know.
Joke that my mom would get sick of, like, or not sick of, but she would be like, oh, like this one's older, let's have a little baby again, because like my sisters are 12 years older than me. My mom
Okay.
is 10 years older than me, and then my brother closest in age, he's 5 years older than me too.
Where are you the youngest of four?
I'm the youngest of five, but the first two are twins. So they're the same, but they're not the same, but they're the same, but they're not the same.
I love it. I love it. We're similar then. That's why we get along. 'Cause we're both the babies, and by like a wide age range.
Yeah, and like my dad absolutely fucking adored me. Oh, god damn it.
What? You getting a call?
No, my daughter was texting. My daughter and my husband are at Cedar Point right now.
Is that the roller coaster place?
Yeah. It's
Oh.
we got season passes last year because they like have deals. So we just got season passes because we're like, fuck it. It's like not gonna be a lot to do.
No,
Every
that's the way to do it. There's a water park that's by me. I haven't been now for years, but like it was like $150 for the summer, but I'm like, it's literally 10 minutes away. It's a pool. It was basically like having a pool, but it's like got all the water slides and that was so fun. I should do that again this summer, actually.
I love kind of shit. Like we're going on vacation in a couple weeks, and it's like an indoor water park place, and it's like so fun to get to
Is
do
it a
that.
great it's a Great Wolf Lodge?
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Like it's so fun to do that shit with your kids, and that place is so fun for kids. And like I don't know, like Adam and I were talking about, I'm like, all these other moms, like, they bitch about like having to like pack and do this, and I mean, it's a lot. Don't get me wrong, but it's so much. It's so much fun.
It's like Vegas, but for families and kids.
Like, just chill out. A lot of women just don't want to chill out. You just need to chill out. So
Just
yeah.
no, it's true. And that place, like, I mean, you can drink there and shit, so it's all fun, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, and like I don't want. Well, anytime I go there, you definitely smell some funky stuff when you step out on those balconies. Like mom and dads are having a good time, and you can always you can like pinpoint.
I love it.
Like the fun parents gravitate towards each other.
Well, and then, like, you could, like, I mean, your kids are old enough where you could kind of leave them in the room and go do something at night if you want. Not that you didn't do that.
Oh, we're totally doing that this time. The pubs are open. And me and my husband already told my daughter, we're like, yeah, you're taking Grayson for like 2 hours. We're going to go sit in the hot tub. We're going to go get a drink.
They'll appreciate it though when it's older. That's what, like, I like we grew up kind of in a weird place anyways, but I'm like, as an adult, I'm like, and knowing a lot of parents now, it's like, you need to have parents who can still have fun and go do stuff and like have a little bit of life of their own, that the kids aren't necessarily a part of, and like it's important.
A lot in married couples make marriage and married life look boring. And that's why kids don't want to do it, or when they do it, they assume that that's how it's supposed to be. Like you're supposed to be miserable, you're supposed to be mad. It's like sometimes I look at the stuff that people get stressed about. Like right now, like I have this list of things that I have to get together and pack for this vacation. And we haven't gone on a vacation like this in a year and a half, just like little couple night stays, right? So that's easier to pack for. But I'm not like, oh my God. Like, I'm like laughing it off because you're going to have a good time. But yeah, like, so, like, I swear to God, women are in a competition of who's more stressed. And maybe, and like, I don't think it's just because what I went through with my dad. I think that's some of it because it puts life into perspective in ways. But I think some of it's just people's attitude. Like whether you want to eat, either you want to be happy or you don't. Some people
Right.
be miserable.
Hey, first shot. Hey, Randy. Yeah, boys are allowed to watch. It's just going to be a girls that will be on. And if you guys in the chat have suggestions for names, as y'all know, I have golden shower Sunday stream, so we need to figure out a name for this. And I think I actually know it. I just got to find the post.
That's so funny.
What do you do?
Okay, we'll go get my son just ripped his underwear. Yeah, they broke.
Oh, that's cute. All right, it's just me for a second. She's got a mom. This mommy doesn't have to mom though. How's everybody? Let's see. We got Joe in here. Randy, Golden Gal, Thirsty Thursday. There was somebody posted a really good name the other day. I need to find it on Twitter. It was really good. Hey Kenny, I saw hey Kenny. Thirsty Thursday. Yeah, but I mean, Thirsty Thursday is always sexual or like hot pictures to me. This may not always be thirsty. Oops. I don't know. We'll figure it out. And then we'll have other female guests on and whatnot. So
I got another beer while I was at it.
good. Yeah, I'm already on my second. I brought a cooler up. I have a cooler sitting right here with beers. Even with the limes. I even have my sliced limes ready to go.
I should have got my cooler. Hi, kitty.
Which kitty is it?
This is Merle. I would pick him up, but
Is that the big ass one?
no,
Okay.
that's Billy.
I
It's
was
not
sh- I was
cat.
showing the big one to Mr. Forest Mommy, and he was like, "Holy shit, it's a huge fucking cat," and he was so sweet.
Oh my god,
Oh,
he's such a sweetheart.
I know. And then, but it was funny when he saw the birds, and then he bit you. But that's what they do. Like they get, like when they do the like where they chatter and like move their jaw.
Yeah,
Apparently, that's because it's like they're getting ready to kill something. Like that's where that comes from.
he wishes he could kill someone.
I mean, that's what's good. This is here. Oh, that's funny that Alexa just said scissoring because the one name that made me laugh that someone posted was
Scissor me.
scissor me timbers. Like, I was like, that was just funny. I like that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Golden showers came eventually, so the name for this one will eventually come too. And Alexa will be on. Alexa can come over in person and do it too. Oh, Thought Thursday.
Yeah.
I a little bit take offense to the term thought, but I don't really take offense.
What?
But
Thought that?
yeah, that hoe over there, the THOT, like online thought thing. Cause I'm like, yeah, I'm like me. This is what I do, right? But I don't know. I'm not like a ho ho. Just kidding. It's all good. Thoughtiana. Someone said Thoughtiana once.
There's a my husband and I were talking about this one night. I'm like, don't you think there's a difference between like being a hoe and being sexual, and I was like the chick at the bowling alley.
Is she a little sexy?
No, she was totally hoey.
There is a difference.
Total difference between being hoey and being sexy, and there's like a difference between like going to certain places and being like a little bit hoey and sexy, you know? Like you could be like really hoey in the bad place.
So what bowling alley? Where's she at? Where's she at? No, that's the whole thing, and that's what I think like women like you and a lot of my women followers, they understand like I'm not trying to steal no husbands or shit. I just like to fucking be who I am, you know? Like I'm not even looking for that. Like
No,
that's why I
those
think people give me a free pass because they're like, oh, she's not trying to like no, she's just that way. I'm not trying to get no husband.
yeah, but I mean there are women that are like that. Like we like I know people who swing and stuff like that and or have traded and whatever. But like there was this one couple and the chick kept trying to get with Adam and I was like, no,
You
no.
can't be rude about. You can't be rude.
Like I mean, most of the people we know have always respected our boundaries and like who we are, like how we're like raising our family, what we want out of life. You know what I mean? You just like respect what people do. But yeah, they were not respectful. They were dirty.
There's a lot of people like I remember like when I first started like actually seeking that kind of stuff out. There's a lot of people that are like just as pressury and pushy as in like a regular dating, like there's like pushy people, there's people who like they just don't like
Couple
and
I met was like weird about it. Like they were the only ones that bothered me. Like
that's why
every
I don't like we don't like seek it out necessarily anymore because there are just these people who are just like weird about it. It kind of like I prefer it more naturally to occur more naturally and more just whatever. But there are people who would be really fucking weird about it, and I'm like, I'm just here to have fun, and you're like pushing me, and I'm like, how good it like whether you're single or whatever. If you have to kind of pressure someone to do sexual stuff, you're like, what's wrong with you in your head?
you're yucky.
yeah, like there's something wrong with you in your head, because there's no reason, if that person is not naturally organically turned on and you are, like there's something wrong with you. Like you should know to not go, like that's how I am, at least, because I'm like, but I'm not very pushy.
Most people, I mean, I think most people are like that. I do. Like, but you know what? Even if it was the other way around, and most couples I knew that were like swingers, like, I still try not to judge people by like everybody's an individual. You don't know who people are.
Hey, constitutional carpet. Well, that's what I tell, like,
Anything, it's you don't know who people are.
that's true. That's why I try to give the mess.
Good or bad. I mean that both ways. You really don't know who people are. Just
Yeah.
take time to know people.
Oh yeah,
Try.
I've had friends that like I thought I was good friends with and knew them, especially with this COVID shit, and I was like, fuck.
I know. I thought me and my husband, me and my cousin were like totally cool. And then, well, I didn't even say anything about COVID. I said something about transgender kids, and she like jumped all over me, and I was like, "Damn." And then she got me suspended from Facebook.
You
And then,
got suspended?
yeah, for a month. For a month. I didn't
I
even
believe it.
think that bad. But yeah, then she was all on the COVID stuff, and I'm like, man, like, I never knew she was just like this easy manipulate. Like, I always kind of saw her like a free thinker, kind of like me, like we would like chill and smoke together and drink together, and whenever we were together, we would just have like cool, laid back conversations, like, why is our conservative family so crazy uptight? Like, oh, you're uptight on the other side.
I think it's Facebook. Honest to God, I think Facebook has fundamentally changed society and people. I mean, all social media, but Facebook specifically, since I've been off of it, like especially during COVID, because I was off of it during. I'm off of it. I'm never getting back on it, but it's like there were things even I saw that I was fed. You're fed shit through Facebook. Like with Twitter, I don't feel like yeah, there's ads and stuff, but you can block them, whatever. But I don't feel like Facebook fed you shit. And like there was even shit I thought right before I got off of it. And I was even in kind of like libertarian anarchist Facebook before I got off. And I was like, I remember it's just I was fed this lie that Jordan Peterson is this terrible person, blah blah blah. And I was like, I don't know who this guy is, blah blah blah. Got off Facebook, and then I looked him up, and I'm like, oh, he's not that bad. And then I started understanding the whole woke shit and how they were just going after him because he was like, oh, it's actually not cool to pass a law saying you have to say pronouns or whatever. And it's like, yeah, that's like okay to say.
Fucking weird.
Yeah. And so it was funny, like how even and then I'm like, then I got off, and then then during COVID, and then like I lost so many. As soon as I was off Facebook, first of all, even people I knew in real life, I like lost. They didn't talk to me anymore, and then like I just saw a couple other people who I would still see on Instagram, or there's one girl I blocked her on Twitter, but like these, and then Facebook made all these like middle-aged women in these groups turn into fucking like nightmares.
Dicks.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
Lunatics. They're absolute lunatics. All of them.
They went crazy. I told that, so I got doxxed, and then this girl who was friends with the people who doxxed me, I was like, I might have to block you. In text, actual text, I said, like, I might have to block you. It's not personal. It's just because you're connected with, these are your friends, and they did this to me, blah, blah, blah. And then I find out and then I started getting big on Twitter. And then like a couple months later, someone's like, hey, she's talking shit about you in this group. And she was talking shit about me in this group with a bunch of middle-aged women. And like they were being so like the shit they were saying was so mean. And I was like, and this is a girl I gave money to and shit.
It's horrible. The shit that they'll say about you, oh my god, it's horrible. Like, I would have messages sent to me on Facebook, and I was like, Oh my because like I'm not that type of person. Like I would just say them like something that was not that big of a deal, and then they just come at you. So I'm like, well, now I'm really gonna say like, and even still, I don't say the shittiest of stuff, and people still hate me. X and I were talking about that when we went out. Like, it is wild how you can say the most simplest thing, and people freak out on you. Like I said one day, I do you know who Hotep Jesus is?
Yeah.
Okay, so like a year ago or something, I said because he was just being hilarious on Twitter that day. So I'm like, I want a Hotep Jesus presidency, and he retweeted it. And some of the people that came at me, I'm like, I was just being funny. Like he was just being funny today. Like can you nobody can lighten up, and Facebook is like that really really bad. Facebook is a weird place. Like I kept trying to tell my one cousin to get off. Like I'm like, dude, you need to get off Facebook. He's like, I'm not getting on Twitter, it's owned by commies. And I'm like, everything you go on is at Facebook, Instagram, all the stuff you use. So what's the difference, you know? But yeah, he got like way into that conservative stuff. So, I mean, I met some conservative people. I met Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk, and I met the conservative twins or the Hodge twins, whatever. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I got you.
They're fucking hot.
Yeah. Hell yeah, I bet they are. They're all muscular.
Oh my god. Yeah, and they came out after their little show or what. Like, well, we got a meet and greet, so we got our pictures and everything. But
Who,
they
you and Adam? Was it you and Adam?
It was me and Adam, cousin, and a couple, or yeah, one or two other people. But then we were just at the bar afterwards, and they came out, and we just sat there and talked to them. And yeah, like I was feeling on their arms and stuff, and I got a bunch of pictures with them. Yeah, they're hot.
Oh, thanks for a shot. And yeah, I mean, it's funny that like the last 2 years with what happened, that like I would even say I'm conservative, but like there are aspect I am, like when it comes down to it, especially if I had had kids, holy fuck, I would have been the strictest. Like, like it's funny when you, now that I'm seeing it, but then I'm also like, but I'm also, that's what makes me more libertarian or whatever, also because I'm like, I don't give a fuck what you do in your life. It's just my own personal, like.
I would never want somebody to tell me how to raise my kids, so I would never want to
It's that
tell someone
easy.
to raise their kid.
It's that easy, right? Like a text is here. You were just talking about him and then he popped up.
I mean, obviously, with the exception of abuse, you know,
Right. Yeah, common sense is always in play, right? Like there's always.
yeah, like not cutting your kid's breast or dick off.
What the fuck is that? I mean, and again, that's Facebook monkey see, monkey do shit because I'm like, I.
Like the latest fad, and it's always with Hollywood. It's like let's adopt a tiny dog and put it in a bag. Let's adopt children from a different country. Oh, let's have our children be a different sex. Like it's always like these little fads with Hollywood. Always.
And it's so sad because you know what? We had a huge dress up box and the boys came over. They would put girl clothes on sometimes too, but it wasn't a fucking thing. It wasn't a fucking thing.
We had powder puff days at our school, and the guys would dress up as cheerleaders and the girls would play football. I mean, it's just and I mean the like some I mean what I don't get is they said we shouldn't fall in line with gender roles, but now you're like, oh, if a boy wants to wear this, then he must be want to be a girl, and if a girl wants to do this, then they must, you know what I mean? Like my daughter will be like, oh, I'm more boyish, and I'm like you're pretty bougie, honey.
You're just who you are. That's like what I've said this a million times. Where I'm like, because I grew up a tomboy. I was 8th grade. I played outside. I was always wanted short hair, but no one ever said, "Hey, maybe that's because you're a boy." And I was even made fun of for having, because I obviously I never fucking developed, right? So in high school or in middle school, the boys make fun of that, which is funny. That's what I made a post about this before, because I'm like, back in the day, all the boys who made fun of girls with small boobs in middle school have helped made plastic surgeons money later on. But now they're doing the whole fucking like trans kid, and I'm like, but how they're 14, 15, like like it's I don't like, obviously I'm not a parent, so I can't like get into, but I'm like, okay, this is fucking wrong. It's wrong.
It's totally wrong. Like we went from like you should love and accept your body. Like, listen, no matter how much you work out and how healthy you are, like your body is just gonna be
You
your
have a
body.
shape. You have a shape.
Like, I'm, I'm not real short. I'm like averages. I'm 5'4". You know,
You're a shorty.
yeah. You know what I mean? Like my butt is my butt, my hips are my hips, like I have a smaller frame, but then there's girls that will have a wider frame than I do, or a bigger butt than I do, or bigger boobs than I do, so you're never gonna weigh 115 pounds healthy because you have boobs and you have a bigger butt or you have thicker thighs. Like, but if you're healthy and you eat right and you do all that stuff, and like right now I'm not healthy. I'm hoping to
Me
get.
either. Me either. And I like way like that's what's so funny is bodies are so fucking different, because I'm not as healthy as I used to be, but I like way less. Like, but it's just that's what's sad about the whole the young doing the young trans stuff, is because it's almost more binary than like what like it's like, oh, you might that genderbread man. Have you seen the genderbread man stuff? Ugh, it's sad. Look it up after. They use it in a lot of like some the one guy I listened to, so he's like he's completely secular. He's just a biologist, but he was saying he's like really researching this stuff with the trans stuff, and he's like, it'll happen in schools and a lot of time with like the gay clubs, like the after school stuff. But they have a thing called a genderbread man, and it says, oh, and it goes into secondary sex characteristics, which are outward. So you're like, you either have testicles or ovaries, blah blah blah. But then there's like hair shape, whatever, and like they're literally telling kids who like a girl who might have a lot more hair, oh, maybe you're like hair growing, just they're Italian or whatever, and they're like telling them you might be a boy, and it's like, it's literally like, you can Google it, it's genderbread me. It's so like, it's almost more like, I said, like I used to go home crying because boys would make fun of the violets are wait roses are red, violets are black, why is your chest as flat as your back. My middle school years fucking sucked, but like I lived, and it was fine after that. But like now they're like purposely like telling kids like, oh, pay attention to how you have small boobs, and maybe that means you're this or that. And it's like, bitch, I was athletic. I didn't have any fucking like fat to make boobs, and it's so funny because it's like, I really think it is like that, because my mother has got my sisters have normal boobs. I just whatever. And it's like, but why would you put that in someone's head? Why would you put that in their head?
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, I don't, yeah.
For
It's
sure.
I look at my kid, like I just want my kids to, I want them to be healthy. Like that's one of the reasons I'm like, okay, like need to stop being unhealthy. Like I'm not even lying. If you know somebody,
Cheers.
are we cheers?
For unhealthy cheers.
Well, no, like I haven't been working out. I haven't been drinking water like I used to. I mean, I gained a lot of weight. And like,
Like, you hold it well. You hold it well.
I don't think I do. I I said to my husband, and then I told Hector, and I'm like, I am not good at having some extra weight on me. Like, I'm like, I feel so out of place. Like, I don't feel comfortable in my skin. And like, I just, Like even after I had my daughter and I lost weight, like I wasn't back to where I was, but I felt comfortable in my skin. Like I wasn't the, size 2 that I was or whatever, but I felt comfortable. But then after I moved in with my dad and I just got really unhealthy, no.
Middle school is where everyone's like, middle school sucked. First shot, you might be able to pick me up now. So when COVID started, I was at like a solid 140, because I was super muscular, and I'm almost 5'8". And then COVID hit, and I was just like, fuck. What the fuck is going on? I was like shaking, like every day I was shaking like a chihuahua, and like I literally lost 20. I went down to 120. I haven't weighed 120 since 6th grade, and I was like,
Almost 5'8".
yeah. So I mean, I look skinny, but I mean, obviously, I don't have big boobs, so like my butt and thighs are always. It's not like I look anorexic or anything, but
I was 5'4", and I would say my healthiest weight is like anywhere from like 120 to 130.
yeah,
Like 30, as long as it's like a working out and eating healthy 130. Is the
yeah.
exact go other way.
I was mad though because then I'm like, I know the weight I lost because I just don't. I've never had fat, like much fat on me. My butt and thighs a little bit, but like obviously.
Yeah,
And then so whatever I did lose was a lot of muscle because I've always been very muscular. I'm back to 130 now, so we'll see what happens. But it's like my clothes all fit now. My clothes like fit the same and stuff, but then I'm like I traded in muscle for fat, because I weigh less, but my clothes don't fit the same. So, but also I don't. At this point, I don't give a fuck. Look at me. I'm drinking beer. Like,
what bothered me is like because when I moved in with my dad and I was drinking more pop and stuff, I could see the effect it was having on my skin and my hair.
just
Like really, really could. And then like lately, I'm like, you really, really can. And some people, like, I mean, I have pretty good skin, but some people, they just have that skin that I swear no matter what they do, they just have beautiful skin. Like my best friend, she has like really nice, beautiful skin. Like
yeah. I
yeah.
pay a shit ton of money to have good skin.
I was telling my husband the one night, I'm like, I used to get this cucumber melon mask. I'm like, I don't remember if I was working at a car wash or if I was working in a restaurant. I'm like, but my skin would just feel so filthy. I'm like, so I got this cucumber melon thing, and I'm like, yeah, you would peel it off your face. I'm like, it felt so good, but like my eyes would water and stuff real bad. I'm like, but man, my skin felt so good. He's like, probably because you were peeling layers.
Yeah, that's what's when I turned 30, and then my acne got super bad. So I was like, what the fuck? And I was living healthy. So I like went to the specialist because I was like, I'm not taking Accutane. I'm not doing the fucking Accutane shit because you have to be on birth control and all this shit. I'm like, I'm not fucking doing it, right? And so they told me like, and that's like normal people, your skin like just they call it slough, but like you shed your skin normally, and that's whatever. But like people with acne prone skin, a lot of times your skin just does not get rid of those layers of skin good enough, and then it clogs your pores, and then you get acne. But there's other things too. But so that's the whole thing. And like so I get peels now regularly because it's like my skin doesn't peel, so I have to like make it peel. That's
Yeah,
how it
like
is.
my skin was just getting fucking nasty from working there. My husband's like laughing, and I'm like, you don't get it.
No, it's like I learned so much going to them, even just about skin, and like now going in, they're like now I'm going from like acne treatments to like, hey, you're aging, you're getting old now. Like now they're like trying to sell me all the old people, and I'm like, and it's working. Some of it like it's really good products and stuff. I'm like, I get it.
It's not like a lot of times it's just finding the stuff that's right for you. Like we were talking about before, everybody's body is different. Everybody needs different things. It's just a matter of finding what's right for you, you
Yeah.
know? Hopefully, as I start drinking lemon water, my face looks better. Yeah.
COVID's good. Well, they even say like, so when I learned going to this lady, a lot of even like the over like Neutrogena or whatever acne products, they still have ingredients in them that are pore clogging. So it's like, it's just like, it's just, it is what it is. And you know what? This shit works. I started in January 2016 is when I first went to this lady, and I haven't used another product since, and I only go to her, and like, so it's been great. Hey, 1MA. Paul, yeah, I just turned 38, homie. What did Hex mix? We talked about boobs and breastfeeding, Hex. We've just been chatting. I love this is so fun. I love Alice though. I'm like, I know we would have so much fun in real life hanging out too. Because
I know.
we would drink.
Our goal is me, Adam, and Hex. Our goal is to get you to come to Ohio.
I really should. I'm like, it's easy for me to travel. I don't have kids. Our life is good. I do need to come out there sometime. That's for sure.
It'd be so fun.
Yeah.
You come in like summer, springish, though, because there's so much. Like, yeah, there's like sometimes I'm like I don't even want to say the nicer things there are to do in Ohio because I actually like that people don't like visiting Ohio.
No, it's true. All the people moving out of Colorado right now, I'm like, fine, bye. Bye.
I do that in the nicest way possible, you know. But yeah, there is a lot of nice stuff here that like just people don't know about. It's just little town secrets.
I'll come out and you can show them to me. First
Well,
shot.
Cedar Point really isn't a secret. Everybody knows about Cedar
Yeah,
Point.
that's true.
A lot of people are surprised how like pretty Sandusky is out by Cedar Point and stuff like that. Like, but yeah, like where I live, if you just go a little bit south, there's a bunch of like hiking places and shit like that. I like green stuff.
They're arguing that. So Kenny is Indian, and he always calls Hex light skin. 1MA, you're not light skin either. Stop with the racism, y'all. Racist, being racist and shit. Yeah, the first.
Fine when we went out.
He looked fine. He just like
He was so easy to find. He was so, but Hex does look very good.
he's fucking like 8 feet tall.
Yeah, but okay, so he's really tall, but I mean, not one of my really, but we have our friend, and he's like 6'4", 6'5", and I was just kind of like, oh my god, like it's
Huge.
he could get much taller, but holy shit.
Hey, oh, and Danny's in the chat. We have such a diverse chat. Holy shit. I love it. Just kidding. Kenny, I don't know if you know 1MA because he's on Twitter and you're not on Twitter anymore. He's been on some of my videos.
I think I know which one am I at.
1MA is awesome. Yeah, he came on one time with me and Hex too, one of those days, I'm pretty sure. And then he's come on another time.
Yeah, I think he was on while I was doing my daughter's room because I listened to your live streams a lot when I was doing my daughter's.
Do you like? I mean, like, is it silly or do you like it?
No, I love I love sitting there listening to it because it's kind of I mean it's kind of like you're just kind of sitting there listening to your friends having a conversation, you know, and sometimes it's about serious stuff and you might learn or think about shit, and then sometimes you just really laugh a lot.
Yeah.
Like that night, like with you, Tactical. I don't know if he was on yours or you were on his, and I had to come outside because I'm like, I'm gonna wake the whole house up.
Oh, I love Tactical. He's probably gone now, but I fucking love him. Like, we get going sometimes.
Silly.
Especially if I drink.
Tactical's not married.
No, and he's like, he's single, but then he's also like, with how weird everything is. He's just married to his work. Yeah, she does get season passes to Cedar Point. She said that earlier.
Yeah, we got them towards the end of last year, but my son is gonna be 6. My daughter's gonna be 12, so they're like at that age where they can enjoy a lot of stuff. So it makes it worth it.
And how far is it from y'all?
It's only like 45 minutes from here.
Oh yeah, that's totally worth it.
And then like we'll go like we stayed out by there a couple nights and then we'll go stay out there again. I want to stay like at one of the spots where you have the beach access because they
You
like
have a Great Lake right there.
yeah, and they put that like fresh sand down. You put that like bought sand.
They put the bougie sand down. That's all soft. Look what Heck said. He's too tall. He's too tall for the rides. I bet he is.
Bad, so I'm like, heck, we'll go to Cedar Point. You can go on the scrambler with me because I love like old school rides, and he can ride those.
One I made. Why? You can do my voice good. You think you can copy my voice? You say you can do my voice. I love those spaces, man. I get fucking hooked though. I'm like, they're like crack cocaine. And then if you start one and then everyone's like chatting and talking and like having a good time, I don't want to stop it.
It's
Like,
fun. I don't know how, like, you know
hi,
what?
large Marge. Sorry.
My husband said he was like, because he's got a fume stick too to help him not smoke cigarettes. And he was like, sometimes I get a little dizzy when I hit those. And I'm like, yeah, it actually doesn't say if there's a limit of how much you're supposed to hit these.
And it's THC. No, this is Alice of the meme. You don't post memes. I think you're thinking of another Alice, large Marge. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't really post a lot on Twitter. I'm a bad Twitterer.
That's fine though. That's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Of course, mommy loved me enough, so. So funny because it was my husband that was like, you need to follow. Have you seen this lady? You need to follow this lady.
I know. I love that though. Like, see, that's what makes me glad because it's like people understand that I'm like, whatever, sexual and open, but they understand that there's more to it, and like there's something else to it.
Yeah, like there's definitely thirsty chicks out there. I don't see
I'm
what
thirsty. I mean, I'm fucking thirsty. I would tell people, I'm like, I want your fucking validation and love and all that. I don't want you to be my boyfriend, but I will take the compliments whenever I can fucking get them. All right,
like your pictures are like what was the word we like they're like sexual, like they're like in a beautiful way.
it's hard to look at me and not think of a sexual thing. Let's face it. Just kidding. I'm just shaped. It's funny because you look at girls with like large breasts, whatever. It's like hard to not think sexual, but then like when people see me naked too, they're like, "Oh damn!" Like, I can't help it. Oh, there, Kenny. Yeah, Kenny, we need to figure out how to get you the link and you can come in on some not on Thursday nights because this is a ladies only night. But I need to figure out how to get you the link.
I'm gonna grab
Yeah, go for it. Kenny, Kenny, can you get on Twitter at all and DM? Can you DM on Twitter or not at all? I'm very bendable for a shot. No one, Amy. I'm not gonna calm down. I'm on my third. What's the alcohol content in Coronas? This is 4.6, honey. Okay. Kenny, Kenny, can we message on YouTube maybe? Message me. Can you message through YouTube? I don't know if you can do that. Message me. Oh, I got a package. What did I fucking buy? Bye, Large Marge. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, Kenny. I mean, I don't know how to have you on. I can't say my phone number out loud. You could. Do you know my full name, Kenny? By chance, you could search it because my phone number's out. Because I'm a real estate. If anyone needs a Colorado real estate broker, hit me up. I can sell, buy, whatever, and I discount. And I need some money, and the market's really weird right now. I did not smoke first shot. If I mix that and this, I'm gonna throw up. Hell yeah! Was that like a 4-pack or a 6-pack?
So they sell 3 packs of tall boys in the burbs.
3 packs.
I had to readdress my drinking when I moved out to the burbs.
How many ounces are the tall boys?
24. And I have a hard time holding them too. So at the bar we went to, like the draft beers were pretty big and the glasses were heavy. And I said, I'm like, I'm gonna end up spilling this stuff on me because and I totally spilled beer all over me. That shit's heavy though. Stop. But yeah, that shit's heavy.
Beer is heavy. I just got your text, Alexa. I guess here, let me pull it up on Twitter and then I'll share the screen here.
Is it the crazy lady?
Saki, the redhead.
Okay, let's see it.
Yeah, let's see it here. Let me pull it up. She said something about baby formula. Second technology a little bit. Okay. All right, hold on. I gotta share screen. It's hard. Share screen. Kitty. Oops. All right, let's see what this bitch is saying. Okay. Can you see that?
Their child's health or well-being.
Here, let's start it. Can you see it?
Health questions, which agency should that question be directed to? Just a very practical, immediate question of if you can't find formula and you need it for your baby to eat, what should they be doing?
We would certainly encourage any parent who has concerns about their child's health or well-being to call their doctor or pediatrician.
What?
You said it was a public health questions, which agency?
What's that matter? So she just said, call your doctor if you need formula? Is that what she said?
I mean, there's stuff you can make in case there is a non-breastfeeding mother watching. I don't think there is. But there is stuff you can to supplement that.
Right.
Pediatricians suck.
Doctors in general, like, it really opened our eyes this last 2 years, like how doctors, they ain't that great. All right.
I already had issues with doctors because of my dad being sick. So it doesn't like my dad had some really wonderful doctors and really wonderful nurses. But I also know that the experts can be wrong. An expert told my dad that he was going to die. And
yeah, MS, right?
Yeah. So he told my dad he was going to die if he didn't get his foot amputated. He was like, either get your foot cut off or you're going to die. And my dad didn't want to do that because he could still transfer. Even though his feet were in bad shape, he could still transfer to the bed and stuff like that, from his bed to the wheelchair. But without a foot, he wouldn't have been able to do that. So my mom, like, even before the internet, all this was like, well, screw that. I'm not just gonna let my husband die, because my dad was like, no, I'm not getting my foot cut off. It was like really sad and bad at the time, but like looking back, it's like, damn, tough. But yeah, my mom ended up finding a doctor, and they put like this stent type thing in my dad's leg, and he lived another like 20 fucking years.
Even my doctor, so I have a primary care doctor, so it's just like a club concierge doctor or whatever. Like I just paid my fucking bill, but as an individual, it's $1,000 a year, which is fine. Anything I go in and do is covered under, I don't have to pay extra. The only thing and tests are at cost. Whereas like when you have insurance, the tests and shit cost like a shit ton of money, like, but everything's at cost. But then I went in December. Well, I went in June 2020, and that's when I had lost the 20 pounds. And he was like, "You lost 20 pounds, honey." They were concerned then. But then I saw him this past December, and he was like, "Oh, you didn't get the vaccine yet?" And I'm like, "Bitch, what the? Wait a minute, because he's a primary care doctor, so he's outside of the system to some extent. He has his own practice, his own thing, and he still was like wooed. And what sucks is he's so hot. He is so hot. Okay, like it, like I will admit this to everyone. Like when we do body stuff, I might enjoy it a little bit. He is that hot. So like, but when he was like, "You didn't get the vaccine," and I was like, "Wait a minute, why are you pushing the like?" It was weird to me, that he was because we're all about like health and preventative health and all that stuff. And then he said, "Well, if you get either it or COVID, or this was at two different times during the conversation, but he basically said, if you get COVID or the vaccine, take aspirin." And I'm like, well, then why would I fucking get the vaccine? Like, what and this is a guy who's already outside of the system, and he was still kind of pushing it. So it's just him and a nurse. It's like, it's a really great thing for like, if you're mostly healthy and like, don't need crazy insurance and you don't take prescriptions, like it's a great deal. Like it's a really great deal. But like it's just him and a nurse. And even when she was like, her kid was there because her kid was home for some reason, so she had to bring the kid to work. And she's like, "Oh yeah, she was talking about the vaccines too." And she was like, "The kid got the vaccine." Well, and I'm like, why are we talking about this? Like, why? You guys are supposed to be outside of the system. You're not part of like this. So I'm interested because I just paid my next bill. So I got him for another year. I should have canceled, but it is kind of handy just in case I only see him once a year for $1,000, but I don't have insurance. That's the problem. Well, not the problem. I should get like catastrophic or something again, but whatever. I'm just like, whatever. I don't give a fuck anymore. So
yeah, I technically can get like an insurance through this hospital, which my doctor is actually at. Like my OB doctor and my heart doctor are both at. But yeah, like we tried my husband works for a small company, and then with Obamacare to try, and when you have a small company, it's like even more expensive. So it's cheaper for me to like get get insurance through one of the county hospitals around here. But both the doctors that I like. But I'm even scared to go back to my doctor because my OB was like really laid back and really cool. And like I think so after my daughter, I had never been on birth control before. I never went on birth control. And then after my daughter, like I wanted to make sure I did not get pregnant. And like most of the time, we're really good about not getting pregnant.
don't come in the pussy.
But like sometimes when you've had too much to drink, so I wanted to make extra sure. And I'd never been on birth control before. And holy fuck, I did not do well with that. And like I've talked to a lot of women who like their doctors end up putting them on antidepressants and all this shit. And it's like my doctor listened to me when I was like, yeah, I think that birth control like kind of fucked me up. And then I eventually I got pregnant again and I miscarried and I talked about getting the shot and he was like, I don't want to give you the shot because that's just in you and you reacted bad to birth control, the pill, but at least you could stop taking it.
Right.
He's like, if I give you the shot, he was like, I can't, he's like, there's nothing I can do. So he was like very open. And then I ended up telling him, I'm like, I started taking in more iron without taking iron pills. And I'm like, but I still have issues with my period to the point where like it fucks with me, you know, and I ended up on the IUD, but I want to get that out now too.
I get it. Or do you want to keep going? If we keep going, I gotta go pee. I'm gonna die. I had 3 beers in me.
Yeah, go pee.
You want to keep going?
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember that IUD.
I can't see the chat, so I don't know. Hi, everybody. Or wait, maybe I can see the chat. No, I can't see the chat. I think I heard the toilet flush. That was funny because I can't see the chat.
All right. Do you have the hormonal one or the copper one or whatever?
I think I have the hormonal one. Like,
What's it
What?
called?
I have the Marina. Marina, I think it is. Yeah. But I did really good with this. That doesn't mean somebody else is going to do good with it. You know, like everybody's body is different. But I think a lot of doctors have like written off that like birth control at especially at a young age may not be the best thing for a woman.
That's true. For first shot, you're a real man still. You can always reverse it. But I love the snip man now. That's my thing. No, so I never did. Oh, go ahead.
My husband said he'd get snipped if it like yeah, he was like he's
Just
like
do
it would
it.
be less for me than it would for you.
Yeah,
He's
because
really
then you can take the IUD out, so that's not there in your body. You know, there's not this foreign object in your body,
yeah,
and
I just it did me well when I mean I'm kind of scared because I don't like what if I do take it out and then like what if my hormones were to go back to what they were? But I don't know. I like
you'd be fine.
yeah.
You're
I
chill.
yeah. Like
No, go ahead.
I thought that was Cat. That Cat was about to attack.
Oh yeah, one oh, he's gone now, but yeah, he loves cats. So same thing with me. I moved out super young. I didn't have sex till I was 19 because I was like, my parents would literally kill me if I had under their roof, right? Or like while I still was living under their. So I moved the fuck out, and I knew all about this. So I've been in the emergency room twice in my life, and one time when I was 16, I was bleeding. So I always had a heavier period. I always have a very clotty period. Sorry to be gross to all the boys out here. We're going to talk girl talk for a minute, but like,
It is a chat, boys.
exactly. We can talk about it. So I was 16. I remember I did track and field and I had a big track meet that night, which made me so mad. But I was like, I remember I was having my period. So I didn't start my period until I was 14. And so now I'm 16. So, I'm used to it by now. And then like, I was like, what is going on? Like I was bleeding so much. I was going through like super tampons and and a pad, like I was bleeding so fucking much. And I was like, okay, I know like my grandma, I love my grandma. She had for some reason told me the story about how she had a period straight for like 2 years because she had fibroids and stuff. So like you just bleed a lot with and medicine back then wasn't great. Right. And so I was like, worried. So I called my parents from school. I'm like, listen, like, I know this is weird, like, but something's up. Like, there's something up. This is different. Like, I can't even control this, you know? So we went to the emergency room because you can bleed yourself to death. There are girls who will like bleed themselves to death because they're bleeding so much. I mean, you're hemorrhaging so goddamn much, you know? So my parents were like, yeah, we'll go to the ER. Went to the ER. And they like, I was just laying in the bed and like they had one of those the pads down that they put under, you know, like I'm sure they do that with when you have babies and stuff. And like, it was just, what?
It's super fun.
Well, because you just be like, and so I was just laying there and like there was so much coming out of me. And I'm like a skinny little kid, you know, and there was just so much coming. So they, at the emergency room, they did do an ultrasound on me and they're like, oh, has some cysts or whatever. But other than that, everything looks fine and blah, blah, blah. And so it was like, I don't know what the fuck the problem. It's funniest when I'm skinnier, I have heavier periods. It's so weird. But anyways, so they told my parents, which my parents, we were conservative Christians growing up. They told my parents, they're like, well, we can put her on birth control or whatever. And they were like, fuck no. No, which thank God, you know. So I never did I never had prescriptions growing up. Like I never did any of that. So then by the time I moved out and had sex, I was like, something in me knew that birth control stuff was a little bit, there was something about it. Right. And so literally I've had sex since I was 19. I am now 38. And I think only 6 months I did try the NuvaRing after that NuvaRing came out. Because I like that because it was right there. Like it's not through, it's probably like the IUD where it's right there. You're not putting it necessarily through your body.
I wanted to.
What?
I could take my IUD out right now if I wanted. Well, not. I mean, well, I could.
It would hurt. No, so from 19, so for almost 20 years now, I've only been on any kind of birth control for 6 months. Which was like 6 of those, which was funny because when I had those in, I lived in Virginia Beach, and the dude I was fucking out there, it gave him a rash. Like he reacted bad to it, so I had to like take it out. Anyways, the whole thing. But I never was worried about getting pregnant, and I was with my first boyfriend for 7 years, and like we were fucking the whole, you know, like, and I remember going to a doctor and she was trying to push the shot on me too, and she was like, oh, that girl just came in, one of her like nurse assistants or whatever came in, and she was huge, like huge, like it looked like not even like proportion, just like something was wrong. And she was like, oh yeah, the depot shot kind of makes people like gain weight and all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm not fucking on that shit. Yeah, because I remember between when I broke up with my ex-boyfriend and got with Mr. Forest Mommy, I had a period for like a month, and that was but it was so it was emotional. That's all it was, really. Like there was nothing wrong with me.
Yeah, and I think that's something I want to try and do more with my daughter is talk to her. I mean, she's only gonna be 12 right now, and she's homeschooled, so like a little
somewhat
bit
sheltered.
Yeah, like she can be a little bit more sheltered as far as being put in situations that I was put into, even like just being at school. You know what I'm saying? Like just being at school with boys my age. Like you get put in a situation. But yeah, like I want to be more open with her because truthfully, like I got pregnant when I was 17 and I almost had an abortion. I almost did.
With Adam at 17?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't meet Adam until I was like 26.
Oh,
But
okay.
my mom and dad weren't terrible about talking about sex. You know, they were very much like use a condom. Like, you know, my mom would tell me shit like nobody wants to marry a loosey goosey, but she was never like wait until marriage. You know what I mean? Like they're
Realistic. She's been realistic.
but like I wish I would have had like more knowledge. But I mean, I think part of it had to do with like the depression that was going on in my life, because when I got pregnant is actually when my dad was in the hospital and we found out he was never going to walk again. So I was just kind of like, blah. But in a way that made me pro-choice for quite a while. But then when I became an adult, I kind of looked back. I went to Planned Parenthood.
When you were pregnant with your daughter?
And, well, not Scarlett, but when I miscarried with my boyfriend when I was younger.
So the first time you got pregnant, you miscarried that baby?
And I went to Planned Parenthood, and yeah, dude, like they're a fucked up place. Like I miscarried while I was there, and it was very clearly a baby. He was very, I mean,
How far along were you?
I was about 13 weeks.
Yeah.
Like it was very clearly a baby. Like the day before I started bleeding, I couldn't go to the bathroom, and it was just like my sister took me to Planned Parenthood and stuff. We were trying to hide it from my parents because my dad had just broke his hip and stuff, and like it was a horrible experience for a young girl going through that. Like they tried to tell me like you could totally like
Yeah, well, that's common. Like even when you don't go, like people they'll pass a miscarry at home, and it's a baby, it's a
and
little thing.
yeah, like mine happened while I was there, and it was very clearly a baby. I can still see it clearly in my head, and they were like trying to tell me like, well, you don't know that. And it's like, no, yeah. So like for a while, like I was kind of like pro-choice, and I still am, like,
We
because
don't want the government in on it. We want the government part of it.
exactly, but yeah, I don't think you should be able at like 15 weeks, like, I'm not feeling this anymore. Take it out. Like, that's not at all what I'm saying. But like as an adult, I look back at a lot of things that happened to me when I was younger. A lot of things that I kind of smoothed over, and I'm like, that wasn't right. Like I look at my kids and I'm like, that's not right. To like, but yeah, like Planned Parenthood it's a shithole. It's a shithole. Like I know there's women that'll be like, well, when I couldn't get birth control, but like, listen, especially around here where I'm from, that's not even an excuse, because you you can go to so many other places other than Planned Parenthood to get birth control for a decent price.
That's the only time I used Planned Parenthood was when I was on that NuvaRing for 6 months. I went there, and like I did get like at one point like a checkup and a pap smear and all that, but I'm like, that's not their main goal though.
And they don't treat young, confused, scared moms well at all. Like I would never want my tax dollars going to that place.
So you were already miscarrying basically when you went there, and then it came out while you were there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, like the lady's like, well, you don't know that was a baby, and I'm like, yeah, I mean,
You know what? You can't. I don't care how you feel about it. Like that's my whole thing, because I'm obviously pro-choice, but I'm like, you cannot, as a logical libertarian, logically, you cannot say that this is something that becomes a human. Like you can't get around that. It is a thing that becomes a human.
like I see so many sides of it. When I got pregnant between my son and my daughter, I was really sick. I had that hepatitis gravidarum, like it's a severe morning sickness.
Okay.
And I got so bad that my husband had to call 911 at one point. And like I remember my daughter standing there at the baby gate crying for me. And I ended up miscarrying that child too. But like my doctor said to me, he was like, this may not be what you want to hear, but if this pregnancy would have continued, you would have been stuck with a tough choice, because that baby was sucking the life out of me. Like it was taking everything out of me.
That's why you felt so sick.
Yeah. And so like I know there's moms that will be like, well, I'm just gonna tough it out, and that's your choice. But like my husband and I discuss it, and this is our choice has always been like we have children that are already here, that already need us. You know what I mean? Like, and no shame to anybody who decides different, but that's our choice, and that's why I don't think the state should ever be involved in that. Like I just
No, because once they're involved with that completely, then they're going to start telling people when they can and can't have kids, or that was always my thing. Even before I was more anarchist libertarian, I was like, the minute you tell people they can't have abortions, which like I don't agree with it necessarily, like I wouldn't want to have one myself, but like the
right.
minute you tell them that, then the government can be like, oh, you need to prove you can have a kid one day or whatever, like, and it's sad, like it's
And
isn't it?
how do we prove if somebody's raped?
Yeah.
How much time does that take? You want to take time for the baby to grow more while you try and prove if it was rape?
Yeah,
You know,
how old do they have to be to get the DNA out of it?
right. Like and what's crazy is I miscarried when I thought about having an abortion when I was 17. I'm 42. So that's like 25 years ago. And my dad and my mom and I would talk about it, and I'm like, I think we need more education. Like, we need to educate young women. And my parents weren't like mad that I was saying there's a little bit more you could have taught me uh, about pregnancy, that like,
Because it is the parents' responsibility down to, right?
so, I mean, but my parents were willing to have honest conversations about it. A lot of people aren't willing to
They
have.
don't.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do you what did you guys fuck to bring this kid into the world? You could at least tell them about it, right?
So here we are 25 years later, and it's like people are like, no, just abortion, 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 abortion. No, that's a horrible choice for a mother to make. It's a horrible choice. I didn't even go through with my abortion, and just knowing that I had that thought in my head, looking at my kids, I'm like, I feel like shit.
You don't have to
So
feel like shit though, because
I mean, like, it's not something that eats at me at night, but it's something that, like, I'm like, we should make abortion safe, rare, and legal. Do we remember that?
yeah, but now they're like, you should just do it all the time. And I'm like, I'm mad because I'm like, how are y'all having this much sex? I'm not having this much sex. Like, how are y'all having this much sex? You're getting pregnant all the time, fuckers.
That is not good for their bodies either. That that is no more good for their bodies than popping birth control. Like, that's a horrible thing to do to a woman's body.
Did you name your miscarriages, by the way?
No.
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 I
Like,
don't know if I would either.
no. My first miscarriage, I was 17. It was it was just a bad time. It was a really bad time it was one of the worst times of my life. And then when I miscarried between me and my husband, or between me and my
The kids.
between my daughter and my son, the baby only made it to like 8 or 9 weeks, and it
Did
was
you have
just
to do a procedure, or did that one come out too on its own?
we ended up having to have a procedure. But listen, my fucking doctor is like balls to the wall motherfucker, man. Like, because I had issues with that pregnancy, and that dude protected the fuck out of me. Like, and you know what's crazy? He's one of the most sought after OBs, and he works for a county hospital. Like, my sister went to him, and she has like top care private insurance.
He's just a good doctor, because
He's just a really good fucking doctor, dude. Like,
and he's an OBGYN or
yeah, and,
okay.
and yeah, he's just a really fucking good doctor that just listens to his patients. And yeah, it's cool because he is at like a county hospital, so even if you're low income, you can get to him. But yeah, it's crazy. Me and one of my friends like laugh because he delivered both our kids.
Aww. I like that though.
Yeah, I mean he's just an amazing doctor. So I have to admit I was kind of naive, like because he's kind of mostly what I've known as an OB. I see a lot of women on Twitter that like talk about their experiences, and I'm like, that's terrible. Like, how awful that you don't have somebody that listens to you. And like, because women's hormones are just crazy.
We're fucking nuts. No, that's oh, go ahead.
To have a doctor that doesn't listen to you specifically about your hormones, that's terrible.
Well, and a lot of these doctors don't. I actually liked so a couple of years ago I thought I had fibroids for a while because my periods have always been so clotty, and then my grandma had told me about how she had fibroids and stuff, and I was like, well, maybe I have fibroids. So I saw this like study, and it was like, come in and like so basically I got a free checkup even though like and then he did an ultrasound, the wand one where it like goes up you, and he's like, no, you're perfectly healthy, you don't have any fire. I was like, great, good to know, and I got it for free. But that guy was he was only a gynecologist. He wasn't the OB. He wasn't the baby part. So his big thing was sterilization. I'm like, what are you doing, buddy? But he also did tell me about, which I didn't do it, but he told me about like how you can get ablation, and how that kind of like you don't have periods as much anymore, and if you do have a conception, it can't attach to anything, which I didn't end up going through with it. One reason, because I pay cash for everything, and if you haven't had a kid, if I wanted that, I have to pay like an extra $5,000 because I have to do it in a surgery center because my cervix hasn't ever been like stretched out, So I didn't do, I'm like, I just had my fucking period. I just turned 38. I'm like, why am I still, I want to get rid of it. But then also, I don't know, like, why do extra work? Why do extra shit to your body if you don't have to, right?
Yeah. And like women's bodies are like, they're so fucked up and they're so fucking different, dude.
So
Oh, like that, like, I mean, I'm happy I'm a woman, but sometimes I'm like, this shit is exhausting.
so tiring. It's so tiring. I had a cousin who she was trying to be a doula and everything, right? She had two kids.
For the baby, like,
Yeah, like midwife, all that stuff. And she actually, so this was, when did this happen? 2016 January. I think January 2016 or 17. She had a stillborn like right then. Like, it was really fucking sad, obviously, because that's really fucking sad, right? But it was sad because she had been training to be a doula and all this, and she's like, yeah, I guess I noticed she wasn't moving as much like the night before, and it's like, it's amazing we make it. Like I always say every time, I'm like, it is amazing because we have fucking 300,000 eggs or something to start with. Like, it is amazing any of us technically, for as easy as some people get fucking pregnant, it is amazing that any of us make it. Like, because there's miscarriages. They say people have miscarriages they don't even know because it just comes out in your next period.
I wonder that because I get clotty a lot, and like that's one of those things like,
Oh, I'm fucking clotty, but it ain't no fucking baby in there. I'm just fucking clotty and gross. It's so gross. Sorry, everybody.
well, it's supposed to be a girls live stream.
Well, I'm like, and then people will be like, it's okay to have sex in your period. And I'm like, listen, it is not blood. It is fucking like jello coming out of me sometimes. Like, it is like not, you do not understand. And it's true. I'm like being so true. It's been better. I'm like, I'm hoping I'm almost done, for fuck's sake. Although I started my period so like late at 14. I'm like, oh God, I hope they're almost done. But I think my mom was probably like close to 50 by the time she was done. So I'm probably fucked. And I don't want to do anything.
My mom went through menopause twice. I'm like, I feel really fucked. Like, she stopped having it, and then she started having it again for a couple years, and then she stopped having it again. It was horrible. She was gonna divorce my dad. She was gonna kick me. One of my friends lived with me at it because, like, my parents took in all the strays.
That's sweet though.
They did though. Like they did. Like they would take in the kids that parents just like treated them like shit and stuff like that. Like my parents just took them in. But yeah, like my mom went through menopause twice, and my dad was sick. It was terrible. I hope I don't go.
That's
through
what sucks, is because like the hormones can like Adam. Do you know that Adam has a Scottish accent? Jello, bring a spoon. Oh God. That's why I tell people, I'm like, yeah, but I just can't.
Can't taste anything. You know what's. You know what? Should try Fume. Should, like, I don't know, sponsor you, because I think it's funny that Dave Smith,
Oh, he does Fume, yeah.
he talks about Fume, but he hits his vape like the whole time.
I know I should, because Robbie Bernstein, he actually does some of the like sales for all that like sponsorship shit. So I should be like, yeah, get my 9 watchers, give me a sponsorship.
Actually hitting.
Oh yeah.
No,
What's it called? Zoom or Zoom? What's it called?
Fume. F-U-M. No, so
Fume. Take your everybody. If you want Fume, it helps you to have the hand to mouth motion, which that's what half of us are addicted to when we're addicted to cigarettes. That's what he says.
I will, like, I'll say this. Like I still get cravings. Like I quit smoking for years. Like, so, but I had issues after I started again. Like I had issues quitting more after I started again than I did like when I just initially quit. And normally, like, yeah, like I have urges, but this is definitely, it does kind of soothe those urges for sure. Like, yeah.
I smoked a cigarette on Saturday at my party. I was like, God, I want a fucking cigarette. And people were out back smoking cigarettes. What did you say?
I said don't smoke cigarettes.
Because I never was ever addicted to cigarettes ever. I've always been a pot smoker all my life, but like I could just never get. But like when I drink, sometimes a cigarette is just like, it just feels good, you know. Luckily, there's.
But I like, because I have been a regular smoker, I have to not smoke them when I drink. But this has definitely been helpful. So
It's
yeah,
better. It's like less. I've heard it's less, technically less chemicals and stuff, and obviously smoke is tar and all that. So
yeah. And like this is like those essential oils and stuff. So even like, even if you just have it, if you have them sitting around, like they just smell good.
I like vape. I like my pot vape pens. So you can smoke them inside too. Like right now, it's been so windy out. I don't want to smoke my shit outside because I get paranoid about fires and shit. So I'm like, I'll just smoke my vape pen.
When I went to Colorado and like South Dakota and all those places, like I remember people like being all weird about like cigarettes outside and like, like especially in South Dakota. South Dakota is not a free state, by the way. If anybody, no, it's totally a fucking state. I hate that fucking place.
It's the right side. It's from the right, very like authoritarian.
So when they were staying open during COVID and shit, I'm like, everybody's like, oh, South Dakota is such a great place. And like, my husband knows I got arrested in South Dakota. And I would be like, yeah, that's so they can keep their police state open. Like, that.
What'd you get arrested for?
So I got arrested for pot and hash. So hash in South Dakota is like a felony. And like in Deadwood, South Dakota, they don't have like normal overnight jails. They have like murderers. And then they have like the place where like just people are going to be for a few years. Like, and that's where I was. And like some of the people I was in jail with, I was like, God damn, this shit is fucked up. Like, I already thought our justice system was fucked up. I was like, this shit is fucked up. Like, this is not right to be treating people this way, treating women this way. Like,
for a non-violent thing.
Just stupid fucking shit, dude. Just stupid fucking shit. And then that Christine Noem, she signed, even though I think it was like 70% of people voted for weed to be legalized in her state.
And she like vetoed it or whatever, right?
Yeah, it's insane there. That place is crazy. I'll never
it's
go.
So dumb because it's like it's so much. Yeah, it kind of maybe fucks some of Colorado up too, but then it also did it. You know what I mean? Like, hey, Punisher. Like, it's.
Well, at least Colorado's beautiful though.
There's some pretty spots in South Dakota. We like camping there.
It's not like Colorado.
No, it's not like Colorado. It's like the Badlands.
Yeah. Like, and I'm not even like a huge mountain person. Like I like rolling hills. I like water and stuff like that. But when I was traveling through Colorado, we came around this turn and then you see the Colorado Rockies, and it's one of the most breathtaking views I ever saw in my life. I was like, holy shit. That's kind of
the mountains are like, sometimes I take them for granted, but I'm like, because they're there every day, you know, they're like right there. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, even like, so the town that I live in, it's like really hilly. Like my husband used to say, I will never move to this town because it's so hilly.
Is it like West Virginia hilly? Kind of like that?
It's just everywhere you walk, everything's just kind of little hills.
Really?
So when his sisters came here and they're from Washington and like outside of Seattle, like nowhere places, stuff like that, like beautiful parts of Washington. And they came to North Royalton, they're like, that's crazy, like the views you guys have here, like how hilly it is. And I'm like, yeah, like it's I was like, yeah, it's actually really pretty.
What's nice out east too is you have like moisture and trees and like it's it's different out there.
Like right by me, we have the metro parks, which more and more people are trying to build there, which sucks. But that's a lot of greenery, a lot of hiking places and stuff like that. And yeah, like more and more people are trying to build there. Well, they already have.
The white flight. They're doing the white flight. It's not even that. Because what's funny is like I was laughing. We were in my Colorado group. We were chatting today about like downtown Denver. It's just I used to go downtown Denver with my ex. We used to ride our bikes around. Like we would take the light rail up there. It'd be fine. Like now I fucking don't want to go down there. And it's grown like crazy since then. They're building constantly. Yeah, but it's like there's homeless people everywhere, and it's just like more dangerous. Like maybe I'm just like I'm like live between the suburbs and like super like rural. But like I'm like I don't even like going down there anymore because I'm like I don't trust people like I used to, and there's literally tent camps everywhere in Denver now, like everywhere, and people are paying top dollar to live down there next to fucking tent camps. It's crazy.
No.
And the pot stuff did like start that kind of, but then like everything's just messed up everywhere right now too. It's like I don't know. Ashtabula, do you know where Ashtabula County is? Is that out by you?
No, I'm not moving to Ashtabula County. I have to pee real quick. Oh my god.
I love it. We're just fucking shotgun and beer over here. Scott's a gunner shipper. Adam, and you grew up mostly in America, right, Adam? I think I told you. Adam? Did you follow Anthony? Because he's actually made it back to fucking Scotland now. He's in Scotland right now. He wasn't even home. He was traveling around for like over a year. Okay, there's 10 people. Hey, everybody. Hey. I hope everyone's having a good Thursday night. Mommy loves you. Oh, Ohio. Does Ohio have medical weed? First shot? That's why you have the accent, Adam. Told me 30 shows for a gun laws. There's a whole Adam. Do you follow the Scottish libertarian people? There's a whole Scottish libertarian. Nice butt, Alice. Nice butt shot right there before you said. I understand like if you feel heavier, but you hold it well. I'm just gonna be honest. You hold it well, okay?
I don't feel like I do. Like, because I was always so tiny and I was always so in shape. Like, even
Where do you feel big right now? Why are you such a bitch segment? Let's do it right now. Fucking bitch.
yeah.
And I knew who this lady, the only reason I know her is because she always played like a lawyer on Law and Order and Law and Order SVU.
No, she used to be on that Life Goes On show.
Was she the mom?
She was the mom with the kid with Down syndrome.
I remember. Corky. I don't remember her as much in that, but I remember her as these like a lawyer or just like a TV actress. She's just a TV actress.
Yeah.
All right. Hold on.
Yeah.
We're gonna share
on that show.
She's fucking boomer ass fucking bitch. Okay. Share. We're gonna watch this fucking bitch be a bitch.
Talk to somebody like that.
What did you say?
I couldn't. She talked to that lady.
I don't do well with that because my mother was a little bit of that boomer bitch thing. I don't fucking deal with it. Okay, here. All right.
Put your mask over your nose. That's why you're in the theater. That is the rule. If you don't want to follow the rule, get the fuck out!
Are people clapping? What the hell? Who would clap for that?
You are. If you do not respect the people that are sitting around you.
They don't have any masks on.
You pay my salary. Bullshit. Chris Harper pays my salary. Excuse me. Who do you think you are?
Bitch, who do you think you're a D-list actress?
Over your nose. We have worked.
How sad that someone fucking paid for that shit and for her to just be like a bitch like that. What the fuck?
And you can hear it in her voice, like how angry she is. And like, listen, like I get angry over shit. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, there's things I get.
Well, I'm Italian.
When you get angry over the simple fact that somebody's mask is slipping down, like over the stupid COVID shit, when you're on a stage like spitting all over people without your mask on.
What
Like,
the fuck?
and the way she talked to that lady, it was so demeaning. It was so, oh,
It was it was very it was abuse. It was abusive. That was abuse. Like, she was being abusive, and on top of it, as we all know, like the whole like people in Hollywood think they're better than us and all, so there was that aspect added to it. But she's a fucking D-list actor. Like I said, she was in Life
well,
Goes On, like you said.
she's Broadway. And them Broadway motherfuckers, they can be worse. Like, they're almost more dramatic. Like,
Well, and then
I,
she's like a boomer. She was just that boomer, like that boomer bitch who's just like being a fucking boomer like the boomers, like whatever. This is my mother. My mom was a boomer, and like she kind of had some of that, a little bit of that attitude, a little bit like the Karen thing. My mother did, and like, what the fuck though? Like, how would you? In my whole like even
weird. It's not. It is not normal to sit on a stage and berate somebody over
just
something as simple as a mask slipping down. Like, it's not normal. And I don't think people understand that. I don't think people understand that. And these celebrity and Hollywood freaks, they just think they're above everybody else, and it makes them feel so special because they've never had to actually do anything in their lives but pretend to be emotionally, you know, confused or whatever. Like, they never had to actually live through that stuff. Like that they
yeah.
have. Like, most celebrities that have made it live very well and pretty decent lives.
She's
Like,
been on plenty of fucking Law and Orders, like I said. This is what I don't understand. This is how people in the audience and those other people on their little that were sitting next to her, they knew she's an abusive fucking cunt because none of them said anything, right? Like, regardless how you feel about mask, you don't fucking treat someone in the audience like that ever.
no.
Ever. Like, unless you're a stand-up comedian, sometimes when people heckle you, they'll go back and forth, whatever. That's one thing. But she's just yelling at this lady who paid for a fucking ticket to see her, and she's like,
Yeah, and let's not forget that she showed how ignorant so much of Hollywood and celebrities are to where their money comes from. She's like, you don't pay me. And it's like, bitch, if all these people stop deciding to come to your show, you don't get paid. Because that dude's not going to give you money if people are willing.
like, very simple facts, honey.
I mean, and I mean, I guess good thing you're in New York, but here's what I would wonder about places like that. Like, because people will say, well, it's New York, and you know, they're more open there, blah 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 blah. Okay, so when people visit New York, they're not always liberals. Like, I've been interested in visiting New York. I don't really want to go anymore. I don't think it's worth it. But back in the day, I used to be interested in going to New York. I wanted to go to museums and stuff like that, and even a Broadway show. So somebody like me, if I see that, I'm not going to want to go see your show. Like, they make it into like it's a Republican Democrat thing, but it's not.
She's completely ruined. Like I said, I used to actually like her because she was a good attorney on like Law and Order kind of shows, and now I'm like, fuck that bitch.
She was a very powerful actress, but like, I look at a lot of women now, like that. Well, crazy enough, like I used to like love Leah Remini when I was younger, and then I was disappointed when I found out she was in Scientology, and then when
Yeah, but she's against it now.
she was the one that was like, you know what, that shit's fucked up. I was like, hell yeah.
Did you see when the Scientology guy was on with me?
I was all about that because I read I read so much into extremist behavior because my parents were such balanced people that it almost made me more curious about the extremist behavior.
Right. Yeah.
Because I didn't really grow up with that. My parents were just like very balanced people that were just kind of, I mean, we had morals, values, all that,
But they weren't like crazy, is what you're saying.
they so I always found extreme behavior to be interesting. Yeah, like I found Scientology very interesting because so many celebrities got involved in it. Because I'm like, how do you not know what you're being involved in? But
they must tell the celebrities something else, is what I figure. But
I mean, they do, but it goes back to that Christy Alley thing. It's like you know that the government lies to you. You know how manipulative they can be. Why don't you believe it when people like you say? Just look. Like I'm not saying you have to believe it, but at least look. But they don't even look. They don't even look. That's the crazy thing. They just flat out believe this shit to be true. They just
yeah.
And that's so freaking wild to me that you will take all the time to look into this other stuff, but like you won't look into that shit.
Oh, the punish. Yeah, I read a couple books about people who came out of the Mormon, like that were strict Mormons and that underwear and stuff. Like if you were this one lady, she was the lady who eventually got out, and she was like, whenever she would be scared about like a thunderstorm, she would put the underwear back on and stuff, even though she was like out of it. Like it's crazy. Here, give me 1 second.
That's crazy shit. Oh, it's just me again. She has to pee again.
So I grew up super.
You were
I mean,
Catholic.
it was like regular born again Christian kind of family, but
Oh, you weren't Catholic.
no, not Catholic. No, born again Christian. No, my mother converted from Catholic to born again Christian, right? So she could get married. But that's how it's raised, and like the thing about it is like there's religion, and then there's people who use religion and stuff to be weird, right?
Yeah.
You know, like so there was a lot of that growing. Something in me kind of knew that growing up, because I remember being like 7, and they were like, yeah, God's always been like, I've always questioned it. I'm a very spiritual person. I respect and appreciate everybody who believes in religion. I just never believed in it. Like I remember like someone explaining, they're like, yeah, God's always been there. And I was always like, what? And then the dinosaur thing confused me, like
Dinosaurs, right?
yeah, like I always appreciated, and then as an adult now I appreciate that my parents made me go to church, and I had to sit still during this fucking talk with I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. Like I had to sit still, I couldn't misbehave, like there are different lessons that can be learned from it, right? But I just never, I still don't like the Scientology guy and me were talking about, because I'm like, he's like, well, maybe you're agnostic, and I'm like, I don't even think I just don't believe in a God. I believe we're all our own gods, and we're the best we can be. And are you doing pot over there?
A little bit, yeah.
Good girl. Good girl.
Makes me not smoke.
So I grew up with this very conservative, born again Christian family, right? And why was I talking about this? I don't remember now. What were we talking about? Churches. Oh, so I grew up like that, but I still was so interested about like the Mormons. Like, so as soon as I had moved out, I remember I got every Mormon book from the library I could. I read all those. I didn't do Scientology. It was mostly Mormon books that I read about, because it's like just interesting. It's just interesting to me when people are like super religious, right? Like,
I
because in
find
my
it interesting when anybody's super anything.
right,
Like,
especially like a belief which is so personal.
yeah, like I find that really, really interesting. But like I was pretty Christian. Like,
Are you born again? Have you asked Jesus into your heart before?
no, so
We should do that tonight. Sorry. No offense to anybody.
no. So hang on, I'm gonna get my dog because she's like barking a little bit.
Oh, okay. I'll keep talking to the people. Wait, I gotta get caught up here. First shot. I grew up in boarding. Yeah, me too. First shot. And you know what? I get it. I get it. Growing up in it and learning about, I get it. And so my whole thing is I just don't believe in a God. I don't believe in a God. But I believe other people do. And I respect that 100% that they believe in a God. And I'm spiritual, but I just don't believe in it like that. So, and I respect people though. Like, I get Christianity. I completely fucking get it. I will never like judge anybody for anything. I'm not against others. Joe Morgan. Yeah, when you have it forced as a kid, especially when you like have it forced as a kid and you're like, this is what happened to me. I kind of was fine with it, but like I just remember growing up and like I went to Bible camp and all this stuff, and it was like you see other people supposedly like feeling God, and I'm like, I don't feel what they're feeling. But now if I go up and like climb up a mountain and watch a beautiful sunset, I feel that feeling, but I don't attribute it to a God. That's what I try to tell. I'm like, and I don't, if you think it's a God, then if you believe that, then you believe it. That's great. Like, I'm not up on that shit. Like,
I think I looked at God very much differently after my daughter was born. Like, I definitely think, like, I still not sure that I think there's just like this overwhelming God, but I definitely think there's something to, yeah, like, I mean, like, like people will be like, well, why will you eat a cow but not a dog? And it's like, well, dogs have different things than cows. And I think about that stuff. Like, why are horses good to ride? Why are cows?
it's a spirit thing. It's like spiritual.
Like, why is it? And then like when you have a child, and I wish I could like make people who have not had children feel, but it's like, yeah, like when you have a kid, like
You created a soul. I believe in souls, and you created a soul.
different feelings. So like, I don't know. And then like, there's definitely things that have happened in my life where I'm like, yeah, like I don't know if they're like, I don't believe in like the Christian God that I grew up believing in. Like, I don't believe in any of that, but I definitely believe there's something. Like, after my dad died, yeah, like and my kids being born, I definitely believe there's something.
There has to, I mean, because when you create a human and you're creating a soul, and like, yeah, it's like it's magic or something, whatever you want to believe it is, like it's something.
How did that happen? Like, how did men like become men and women become women? And
And then
like,
they
I
fucked.
don't know.
And they're like, we got to do this thing, and then something happens. No, it is fun to think, and that's why I like not my whole. There's like a whole thing. There are people who, if you, I'm okay not knowing the answers and just fucking exploring every possibility along the way, right? Like, I don't have to have a solid fucking answer like some people do, especially with religion and stuff. Like, I was baptized, and I'm like, I asked Jesus into my heart when I was a kid because that's how I was raised. Do I believe in that? No, but I do believe like you as humans want to be godlike and the best you can be, right? And so that's like what you want to do. Like, there's so many aspects of it I appreciate and I've learned from that I've like, and I'm like, because I'm technically atheist, but I'm not. I hate saying that because people think I'm like atheist, and I'm like, I'm not an atheist. I'm not like that. It's not fucking religion to me. Like, me and my bestest friend,
Atheist.
my best friend is a born again, and like David, who used to be on here a lot, like he's super like, because I get it too, because I was raised around that, and I'm like, I see how people believe some of this, like, and you can't tell someone if someone truly believes in something, you can't like tell them to not, or like, I'm not like that. I'm not,
Sure.
yeah, I'm not out here to like I will never say, oh, you don't actually believe in God, blah, blah. I was never like that. Like, even when I was a little bit younger and a little bit angry, a little bit, I still wasn't like,
No, I don't, even though, like, I don't believe in the Bible or any of that stuff anymore.
but
Like,
there's aspects of it, right, that you're like, oh, that's a good story. That's a good message.
I don't feel the need, like, okay, like, Reed Coverdale. Like, okay, so
I love him. He always goes on it.
so funny. But like sometimes I'm like, yeah, dude, like there's no reason to get on Twitter on Easter and like give you like, you know what I mean? Like, I celebrate Easter with my kids and Christmas, and like my dad was fucking atheist agnostic and he fucking loved Christmas. And I'm the type that'd be like, it's a free fucking country. I'll celebrate whatever I fucking want to celebrate.
Yeah.
I'll make up a goddamn holiday if I fucking want to.
Yeah, I make up holidays, and so yeah, that's the thing. It's like you can't.
So like some of that stuff, I'm just like, but at this, I'm like, I just don't like. But I will say, I, without a doubt, like now believe in an afterlife. Like I used to kind of question it, but like, yeah, and now I definitely like believe there's something because of my dad, and like, so Hex and I talked about this when we when we were out, but when before my dad died, I would tell him, I would be like, we should think of a song that you can play for me after you die so that I know you're okay. And my dad was like agnostic type, like, or atheist,
He didn't
like
really believe in the afterlife.
he didn't really believe in that shit. But I would tell him like there would just be like weird times where weird like electrical type shit would happen, whether it was with the radio or lights or whatever. And like we never thought of a song. And then the night that he died, I had on I just put on Matchbox 20 on my Spotify. Like, it wasn't my playlist or anything like that. My dad and I never picked a song. And I went into the bathroom and I came out after like being like, what the fuck am I gonna like do without my dad? Like, I spent my whole life taking care of this dude. Now what the fuck do I do without him? And I walk into the room and I hear playing This Could Be Our Song. Like, literally, it said, this could be our song.
Aww.
Like, that shit, it's fucked up. Like, so I don't really think it's all the like heaven and rainbows and like golden roads and all this shit. Like, I don't know what the fuck it is, but like I think there's definitely some weird shit that has to like do with like electricity, because electricity is natural.
And
Like,
we're like souls. We are like souls.
all that shit's fucking weird. But they make fun of women when they talk about shit like that.
What about like spiritual stuff?
Yeah. Like, because they make it out to be like you're some, like,
Oh, if you
like,
say like crystals in the universe, they're like, you white bitch.
yeah, but it's based on, in a lot of ways, it's based on logic because, like, it's electricity. Like, it comes.
Well, and all the people who do like DMT and have these like or people who have afterlife experiences and then come back, like that shit's real.
Yeah, that's
Especially DMT. Like, especially the ayahuasca, like those people are fucking experiencing something. Yeah, it's chemical. Yes, it's chemicals making them experience it, but it's like they're experiencing fucking something, you know? Like,
and
I don't know.
all like electrical stuff, like you kind of have to admit that's something, but a lot of people will tell you like that's witchcraft and stuff like that. But that's cool. I like that witchcraft shit.
I'm all about the sex magic right now. That's my whole thing. I'm like, I know for a fact it works, but
Dude, it totally fucking exists.
it
Like,
does. You have to be careful with it, but it exists.
have you seen that shit with like the Hollywood cult, like Nexium?
Yes. There was a girl who was a part of that. Do you follow James Lindsay on Twitter?
I did. Well, I started following him because of you.
Okay. So he
Yeah,
like hung out with a girl who apparently was in it, and then it like brought it up. Like I was like, oh yeah, about that fucking shit.
dude, that's fucking weird. Like, and then
Well,
was
when
like,
you become culty and weird about it, you can't be culty and weird about it. That's the thing, right?
you shouldn't be culty and weird about anything. Like, dude, like, I really want my kids to enjoy liberty, dude. Like, I'm all about like family shit, but I'm not like culty and weird about it.
Yeah. That's what, even with my like sex magic, I'm like, I practice it alone. I'm alone when I practice my sex magic. Okay. So, like, I know what it's doing. It's all about like, because of like that Scientology guy and me were talking about. I don't know if you listened to the whole did you learn about the Jack Parsons stuff at all?
Okay, so I've watched some stuff about him, and like, so, and the thing is I've watched other stuff about like sex magic and all that stuff, and if you think about it, goes back to what we were talking about. It's like,
It creates a soul. There's something to it. If it can create a fucking soul, there's
forbid my daughter ever sees this, but like when you orgasm, like it's like it's a very like, and like even in like when you're just with somebody you love, or even, it's been a long time, but like even when you're just with somebody you're really attracted to, like there's so much that comes out of that yeah, I totally believe people can do fucked up shit with that because energy, all of that stuff.
they used to say you see God. You see
Here,
God when you orgasm. So like if you can make it whatever. Are you gonna keep going? Should I go get another beer real quick? Do you want to keep going?
we'll grab another one too.
Is it too late for you? Or are you good?
No, I'm good. I brought the dog in. My husband's gonna be home in a few. He'll put the kids to bed. We're good.
Okay, I'm gonna go grab another beer then. And then we'll talk about sex magic. Everybody take 5.
Yeah.
Wait, I need to leave this on. I love everybody. Thanks, everybody. One more second. Punisher. So sex magic. Okay. I don't 100% believe in all this stuff. I'm not dogmatic. So anything dogmatic I'm not into. But if you guys have all heard of Aleister Crowley and Satanism. So Aleister Crowley had a religion called Thelema at one point. And basically there was this guy named Jack Parsons who, this is World War One, and Jack Parsons and his friend were inventing I've never had sex on DMT, I don't know. So Jack Parsons was trying to invent rockets or like bombs, basically. I don't know if you boys probably know more about Jack Parsons, but while he was trying to invent the bombs and stuff, so this Aleister Crowley, which it can go so deep, by the way. Like I think it's the government doing this shit. But anyways, they brought in this it was basically a sex cult. They brought into this Jack Parsons stuff. So there's a show called Strange Angel, if y'all want to watch it, called Strange Angel. It's all about this. So they wanted to invent rockets. So what they would do when they wanted to figure out how to make these rockets to be able to blow people up, they would come and focus on whatever they want. So basically sex magic is when you come, you focus on what you want or whatever. Like back in the day, it was God for all the like, there it is, there's that booty. That's that. I've tried to explain the sex magic with the Jack Parsons stuff. So like they wanted to invent these rockets, and then the sex cult came in, and so what they would do is they would come and like super focus on the rockets and all the inventions they want to do. And what's really interesting about this Jack Parsons fellow is he helped America invent rockets to kill people for World War One, and towards the end of his like life, L. Ron Hubbard came into the picture, who is Scientology. That's L. Ron Hubbard, as he invented Scientology. So he was in on this whole like sex cult thing. So I was trying to explain the sex magic about. So for me, as a normal human, how it works for me is when I come, I just focus on the people I love and make sure they're like having a good time in life. I'm very nice about it. How is the dog? The dog good?
Come here.
She being bad? It's a big dog, right? It's like a shepherd mix or something.
She's a chocolate lab.
Oh, okay.
There she is.
Yeah, Punisher. So Crowley made a couple like religions basically, but he was actually just like a fucking heroin addict. Not that cool, but it's all good. Go ahead.
Dog like flowered all over me. Well, because like a lot of people believe like when you have orgasms and stuff like that, like it's like
You're seeing God. You're seeing God.
It's like crazy shit. And yeah, some people use that shit for bad shit.
That's the whole thing, and that's what I think is going on a lot right now. And because I've been learning more about this. So in World War One, they would have magicians on the war fields, like doing spells and shit. And then like with the whole like Ministry of Truth bitch that's coming out. What are you saying? What'd you say?
Know that about World War One.
Yeah, they would have magicians.
Yeah, because like my husband watches a lot of stuff about wars and stuff. Like I'm gonna have to watch that.
Yeah, I'll try and find stuff for you. And so there's if you can get, it's on CBS, if you can stream CBS through Amazon or something, they have a show called Strange Angel, and it's just one season, and it's all about this Jack Parsons. It's a true story about this guy named Jack Parsons who invented, and then it turned into this whole sex cult, and then L. Ron Hubbard, it turned into a whole thing. But I'm like, I understand, because if sex creates a fucking soul, like there's magic to it.
I mean, and it, like that, like it's a bird.
It's a what? Oh,
my barking at a bird. Yeah, like I almost think sometimes It's
Must be nice to have a dog that actually is like a dog. Mine's like a fucking loser.
she sees it. Bird. Okay.
Oh, is that? Oh wait, that's not what. Yeah, first shot. Once I get monetized, you can start giving me super chats then.
What does it take to get monetized? Like, what are you? The
only thing I need now is more watch hours. So let's here. I'll look, see where I'm at. They took a bunch away, so I'm all good. You just need 4,000 watch hours, but I do so many live streams. I don't do like videos, you know, where people like watch videos. And I'm not like good about, like, I can name my shit and I don't name anything. Let's see where I'm at. I was at like, I would be at 4,000 hours now, but then they like took a bunch away for some reason. Yeah, I'm at 2,100, 94,000. Bullshit. I need to make videos.
Well, like, I don't know. Why don't you do like, instead of trying to do a video alone, like, still do the live streams every week, but then try and figure out a time with me and a time with Hex to just do a podcast and just like list like 3 things that you want to talk about with Hex and 3 things you want to talk about.
Yeah, that's what I need to do. Or I could just do yoga videos and then people will watch that shit too. Oh, he said, what kind of dog do you have? A chocolate lab.
She's she's waiting for her dad to get home.
Is he working still?
No, he's at Cedar Point with my
Oh,
daughter.
that's right. That's right. That's right.
That's another. So, do you like
Bye, Punisher.
parks and shit like that?
I do like I love water parks especially, and I like roller coasters.
I love water parks. I haven't been to the one at Cedar Point, but like everybody says it's awesome, and then like Cedar Point's supposed. I'm not a big roller coaster person, but like obviously everybody's.
There's other rides. Here's my feet, Adam. Look, I do my own toes. I do such a good job too. Just FYI.
What you my shit?
You want me? I'll come over and do your feet for you. I love doing it for other people. I was just telling Mr. Forrest, mommy, like when we're at the other house permanently, we're getting a fucking pedicure chair. No doubt about it.
I think you should come here in. Oh my god! I hope in September, and then you can be the like minister at my vow renewal, because Adam and I are going to renew our vows.
What year are you guys going to be at? 10?
No, like we were going to do it at 10, but shit was so crazy.
Oh yeah, you're 42. What are you, 15?
I think it's our 13th anniversary. But like,
what year did you get married? Do you remember that? Do you remember that?
2009.
Okay. Yeah,
okay.
13. That's 13 then.
13, right?
See, that's about when we met too. I love that.
Yeah. But like we're doing it because like we've been through like so much shit, and like there's a like I think there's part of us that are like, damn, like I thought I would have fucked this shit up. But we totally rocked it, like,
because you're realistic. That's the thing, you're realistic and like down to earth and like open to like shit like, fucking happens and like life is how it is.
Messy, man. Like shit gets messy as fuck, dude. Like there's a lot of basic things I love about my husband. Like a lot of basic things. Like he loves going to country concerts with me. Like
he takes care of you.
Yeah, like he's a guy's guy, he has a raspy voice, just like a lot of stupid basic things that I find attractive.
Right.
But like, yeah, I mean, he helped take care of my dad. My dad was really sick
That's huge. That's huge when they take care of your family.
like he didn't walk into like two like healthy parents. He walked into like this chick's dad is in a wheelchair, like
Dying. He's dying. Like,
and he lasted, I don't know, like 11 years after Adam and I were together. But Adam, like, he totally stepped up to the plate. He was the last person that put my dad to bed. Like, he was just he just he just stepped up to the plate in a lot of ways. But like, I don't know. At the same time, he's a lot of fun.
yeah, well, that's what like we've talked about that. You have to have fun, right? And
Yeah,
then when
yeah, he's totally fun.
and taking care of like,
And
because like,
he could be a grumpy ass too. Like, did you ever watch that 70s show?
yes, what was he, the dad, the one dad?
Right? It's
Yeah,
like always say I'm like the mom because she's like always drunk.
I get it.
She's drunk, I swear.
Is it Adam? Does Adam do he does like trades work for work too, right? Like
What?
physical Adam does like physical labor for work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
It's
like when you see somebody with like the really nice outdoor living spaces, like all brick and like nice stove outside with
he
brick.
builds those, but your guys's isn't like that. Is that what you're about to say?
Yeah.
That's
He does that, but I ain't got that.
That's
But
what I tell people. It's the cobblers, that whole thing, like the cobblers' kids don't have nice shoes. And I'm like, so a construction contractor guy's house is never super nice because that's what he does for work all day.
busy doing somebody else's house.
Yeah. And they're paying for it. Whereas if he were to do it here, he wouldn't be being paid for it. So there's always like, I put a picture up yesterday and there was like some wiring in the picture. I don't fucking know. And someone, of course, fucking autistic people on the internet brought it up. They're like, who did that wire? I'm like, well, he probably did 20 years ago. I deleted the picture because I'm like, fuck you and your building codes, you motherfuckers. Like, our house is the last to have shit done to it because that's how it is. Like, that's just life, He doesn't want to come home and do that shit.
I mean, just the way people are nowadays, it just cracks me up. Like it really, really does. Like if you have it like that, where you can have everything done for you and yada yada yada, like go for it. Like, but honestly, most of us don't have it like that, and there's a lot of people that I have learned that try to think they have it like that, but they don't have it like that.
No. Is your roof good? Is your bathroom work? Like,
Yeah.
that's
Wow,
what matters.
my bathroom's about to go.
Are you guys gonna start doing that?
I don't know when we're gonna do that.
I know it's such a projects are hard because you start them and then it's like you don't, so you don't get the spins when you smoke and drink, right? Or do you get the spins ever?
It depends. Like it seriously depends.
Yeah, you have to like hit at the right point. I love that there's people watching us getting fucked up and talking about like real shit. It's for real though. Like if people want to get in that, and then it made me mad because I'm like, oh, if you motherfuckers are in the trades and you have time to be on fucking Twitter, you must suck because everybody in the trades is busy as fuck right now, right? Like you have time to fucking make fun of my wiring.
Like
Bullshit.
my cousin, I'll be like, "Oh, did you see this on Twitter?" And he'll be like, "No," but I think it's really nice that he takes time to pay attention to what I do on Twitter.
Yeah. You guys are adorable. I'm like, that's why I want to meet you so bad. You guys are adorable. I feel like you're probably a lot like us and like just down to earth and whatever.
We try.
I know. I laugh because when Sarah Liberty thought she stayed here, and she was like, "That's your man," because he's not online at all. And they're like,
He's like an enigma. Is that what we call it?
Yeah, I guess I would probably enigma.
Like,
but he's why I can be Forrest's mommy, basically. So as I say, I'm like, I have such a good life because we met when I was working still, and he was like, what's she getting at?
My husband and my daughter are home.
Are they home? Oh, we can stop if you want to get up. We went for almost 3 hours. If you need to go and take care of them, and you're all fucking you would be such a fun mom. I wish you were my mom, for Christ's sake. My parents never drank at all or did anything our whole
my parents weren't crazy drinkers, but yeah, like my mom would have her drink sometimes, like, and she
I wish mine would.
Times where she would wake us up to dance.
Aww, that's sweet.
But
It's like fun. At least that's like fun, as a kid. We can go. Do you want to stop and go greet your family?
you want to
I hope they had fun.
Did you guys have fun?
Fuck yeah, we had fun.
Did you get a funnel cake? Did they get a funnel cake?
No.
Did you dungeons?
Yeah.
Finally.
Dude, you get frisked before you go on that ride.
You get
frisked? You have to go
frisked?
through metal detectors. I had to throw away one of my things of fucking my core because
you had to throw away your core. That's a bummer.
Is that for the view thing? That thing?
Yeah.
Fuckers.
Lame, dude.
But
sure to go on the shit. Yeah.
All right.
Here we've been on for a while.
Almost 3 hours, but it's so fun. It's so fun. So this was our inaugural. Everybody who's still watching, this is our inaugural Thursday. We'll do a Thursday night girl stream every night. We'll have guests on, but this time it was just us getting fucked up. All right. Thank you, Alice. I love you so much.
Thank you. I love you too.
Do you want to say your... We would hug so much if we were hanging out.
Much, but at Alice Forky 1.
At Alice is it Alice _ Forky? Or one word?
I think it's just one word.
Okay. Everyone go follow her if you're on Twitter. And thanks for tuning in and listening to our girl talk. It was fun though.
It was fun.
All right. I love you. I'll see everybody Twitter side.
Bye.
Bye.